Welcome. Not yet.
I think we're live.
Guys, what's up? Welcome to the first ever Maggie and Perloff live stream.
All right. Hi, guys.
Can everybody hear us and see us?
I can't hear you, Maggie. Is that
I hear you, Maggie. Now, yeah.
Now I hear you.
Yeah.
Felt like you were talking there for a while. I'm sure it was riveting, but I missed a bunch of it. Good thing it's pregame, right? So we basically have room to screw around right here. Well, welcome to the watch party. Maggie, can you hear us?
Maggie may lose audio on Maggie. You hear me, right, Perloff?
Yeah. Well, I'm Andrew Perloff. He's EJ Stewart. We are here.
You guys hear me?
Now you guys, yeah.
Now we do. Can you hear us?
Yes, I do. Okay, you would think we were coming from like outer space, but here we are. What's up, everybody?
Did you hit mute and then unplug your headphones?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was the odds-on favorite to do that first, so I'm glad that you did. So how long is pregame? Let's get the bet out of the way first because it's very affected by how long pregame goes. Maggie, explain the bet.
Well, this was going to be the show. Are you talking about when the game's going to end?
Yeah.
The show within the show? The bet within the bet? The bet we have is when is this game going to end? How long is this going to go? EJ says 7:27 Eastern. I say 7:54. Perloff says 7:55. But I got to say, like, this is amazing. I thank you to everybody who showed up so far. We're going to be hanging out the entire game, watching it here. It looks like maybe kickoff is going to be happening in just a matter of moments, but you guys are incredible for coming to our first ever watch party. This is really exciting. Perloff, are you wearing an Alabama shirt?
Oh yeah, and I have alternate uniforms as well, depending on how the game goes. I had to run down to the basement. If things get out of control, I have a Rodrigo Blankenship jersey, and all Georgia fans know Rodrigo is the all-time greatest Georgia kicker because he wore glasses. So I really related to him. So I'll see what's what here. Right now I'm rooting for Alabama because, and I'll tell you why. I want total chaos in the Final Four. So how amazing would an Alabama win be? It's a mistake for Georgia, but just to see.
Okay, so we got to talk about what's happened so far before this game kicks off, right? So last night you had Washington win another unbelievable game against Georgia. Can the two of them just play like every weekend? We keep getting these amazing games. Just in time for the Pac-12 to go away, but they're going to join the Big Ten, so it's all good. That game was amazing. However, if you were banking on lots of chaos, then that didn't help because Washington won and now they're in. So basically, Texas also won convincingly. Just finished a couple minutes ago. I think things are not breaking right here for Alabama, Perloff. I think they really needed Oklahoma State to pull off that upset, give Texas 2 losses, and that was going to be, I think, Alabama's best shot. Now, there's still a lot to go, but I thought that was bad for the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, but you see basically Kirby Smart and Nick Saban out there on the recruiting trail or the campaigning trail to say that a world where the SEC is not in the final game does not reflect reality. I have to be honest. I just like the way they phrase that. Does not reflect reality. But then again, LSU got killed by Florida State. And Alabama lost by 10 at home to Texas. So I don't know if their argument holds water here. Was the SEC that good this year? I don't think they were. I really believe they were down this year. So, I mean, listen, how many first-round quarterbacks are in the other divisions or the other conferences? Pac-12 has 5 of them, basically. You can't tell me the SEC is as good as it usually is.
It's not, but it's still the best college football conference in the country, isn't it? I mean, even if it's not as deep as it has been, don't you think that Georgia has still shown that they are the number one team? And if they lose today to Alabama, I don't know what you do, because if FSU wins and if Michigan wins, you have one spot. What are you doing with that one spot?
More importantly, obviously we got some dogs in the background weighing in.
Yeah.
Is EJ, your puppy a Georgia fan?
Yeah. Bulldog by association, right?
Yeah, he's like, if there's not an SEC team in here, you're gonna raise holy hell.
Yeah, clearly excited for kickoff. This is, of course, what happens when laundry happens. So, hopefully this will not be throughout the watch party, but I'm sure this will be one of several kickoffs we'll have throughout the day.
Yeah, by the way, credit to Texas. They could have rolled up another 3 touchdowns to try to impress the committee, but I think they took it easy, put Arch in to do a couple of handoffs. So I don't like the fact that one of my least favorite things about college football is strength of victory. I don't love to see teams. What do you guys think of that when you try and get extra points at the end to impress the committee?
I mean, I think it's kind of, I think we all know what it is, right?
Right.
We should be able to see through this. This is a little like, Dak Prescott's stats against the Carolina Panthers, call back to a show topic from this week. But it's like I think we can be discerning as sports fans to know when a team's just running it up for the heck of it. And when you actually see like amazing play that deserves our praise. Don't you?
Wait. So Dak Prescott's stats against Carolina don't count, but Deron Bland's pick 6 against Carolina does count in your defensive play. I'm sorry,
Yes.
I totally understand.
Yes, absolutely. You have it 100% correct. But I mean, I think that Texas's win today, let's take today, for example, against Oklahoma State, that was impressive enough, right? Like they didn't need another couple touchdowns. It was, I don't know, what was even the final score, 45-14 or something? Like
49,
message sent.
21, I think. Yeah.
I don't think another touchdown, it matters.
Yeah, I seem to remember Cardale Jones rolled it up at the end to help Ohio State get in that year, the first year.
How much do you guys think it hurt Texas getting Oklahoma State instead of Oklahoma? The Oklahoma game they had was it's the only game they lost, and it was a chance for them to maybe avenge the loss that they had. That feels like the issue for me for them is that they didn't get a chance to actually avenge the one loss they had. It's like similar to what Oregon, the opportunity Oregon had potentially to win yesterday. Please explain the pictures behind you is what they are asking for the just real quickly before they can answer the question. This is Logic in the background. That is Logic, the rapper, the album cover No Pressure. And this is Nipsey Hussle, the late great Nipsey Hussle. This is a victory lap. So I love hip hop. And these have been up for a while. I may actually switch these out soon, but yeah, those are the album covers in the back. Logic and Nipsey Hussle.
Should we do show and tell here about what's in our background? I don't think you're gonna. Mine is not as cool, but a little bit more, as much on brand. My signed Jim Kelly picture just lording over me at all times to remind me of my roots. And behind this plant that I put up is the first ever time that I was in Sports Illustrated, and my boyfriend at the time, who's now my husband, had it framed for me. And it's so funny because Matt Wieters is on the cover. The most insignificant person. He never had another moment ever. The former Orioles catcher. It's like
it obviously meant so much to you, Maggie, that you put it behind a plant.
Do you want to know the sad thing? Can I tell you another sad thing? He had it framed for me. This is when we lived in New York City in a studio apartment together, right? We've talked about this, where the second best seat in our apartment was the bathroom. Like the toilet was like the second best seat besides the couch in our bathroom, in our apartment. We were living in a 500 square foot studio together. He had that frame for me and I didn't notice it for like 3 weeks.
That's, oh wow.
Pretty amazing.
I like this. Cousin A in the chat says, you mean Matt Guido? See what he did there?
Nice. Very nice.
You know, EJ had a good point. If we're not coffee drinkers, because it's not the morning, if it's not purple drinkers, because we're not quite at 420 yet soon, what's our afternoon drink?
Yeah, I put soda drinkers in the thing. You know, I'm drinking a smoothie right now.
Well, I gotta tell you, I think The chat seems so high that they're probably drinking lemonade or something right now. Something soothing to the throat based
Purple
on the
Gatorade.
early evidence.
Painful.
Yeah.
Can I smoke this plant? Stick around and find out.
It's a real plant, by the way.
Oh yeah, it's real.
So on this bet about when it's 4:10 Eastern, I haven't seen a hint of a kickoff yet.
This is.
So I think it's going.
I'm cooked. Yeah, that 7:27 bet's not looking good. What is with this? That's one thing, by the way. Like the whole like the game starts at 4, but you don't actually know when kickoff is. Like, I guess we don't care because we're all slaves to just watching these games anyway. But the NBA has the same issue. College basketball, same issue. Baseball is the only sport that actually gives you the first pitch. Somehow that's the word sports that having the toughest issues on television. I don't get it.
I think they do give you a real kickoff time.
You gotta get the reason why is because these are probably, besides the fourth quarter, these are probably the most expensive ads that they can sell. So you have 2 commercial breaks. This little pull behind the curtain, but you get the 2 commercial breaks you can charge the most for. So, obviously Dr. Pepper,
Well, obviously the biggest breaks after the first play, right? Because of the Super Bowl, like they always put the premier ads, the first and second series.
I think it's maybe that also the fourth quarter generally from the 2-minute warning on to the back. But can we talk about here? We're about to have kickoff. There we go. 4:11. The Dr. Pepper challenge. Can we open up like a federal investigation into what happened with that halftime where somehow that guy got an extra one counted for him when he shouldn't have? Guys,
wait, so
crazy.
I thought that they just were late on the counter. I thought that counter was weird because at first they were taking away points. So I think they had to add points to catch up to what he actually had. But you're saying that he had an extra one that he wasn't supposed to have? I thought they were just still catching up.
Someone did like a Zapruder film countdown and the dude just got an extra one. By the way, that was an amazing, down there we saw on special teams. So if you have foot,
I don't understand. What did that guy do?
He had like 1 foot in the field of play, but it obviously that it didn't matter. So here we are.
Why did he do that? It was a terrible mistake, right?
I don't know. Oh,
yeah, I don't know why he would do it. I don't know why he did it either.
Yeah, that was almost a tragic mistake that cost him 30 yards of. Anyway, are you guys gonna have the sound on or no? I guess we.
I have my headphones in, so it's connected to my second monitor, so it won't.
So you can hear the game.
Yeah,
I can only hear like just a tiny bit. I don't think we're.
Yeah, I have it on super low.
I think
because I feel like if I play it, then it'll play into my mic. So okay, so we're gonna have to do our own play-by-play as a group. Sure, that'll thrill people.
There's a reason we're doing sports talk radio every day, not play-by-play. Although Bogish does play-by-play, he's going to join us, scheduled to appear later on in the show.
No, but my point, you'll go to a second screen for play-by-play. You go to
Bogish, speak of the devil, and he hears. That was like
already
right on cue. I thought you mentioned my name because you saw me in the waiting room.
There's no way I could possibly keep up with that. How's the birthday party going?
The birthday party was good. Nobody got hurt. Nobody puked. We all left in one piece. But I said to the kid who was like in charge of the party, like, I don't know how you do this. They can't possibly pay you enough to deal with spilled apple juice, yelling, I want vanilla, not chocolate. Where's my pizza? That is a terrible job.
Yeah. You know what the worst job is? If you have kids, you'll figure this out. The people who do swim lessons, like at the swim lesson factory places, and they just have to be in the pool for like 8 hours.
Yeah.
Their skin has to be like translucent by the time they get out. All right. So I don't know how much play-by-play we can actually do here, but Alabama goes 3 and out.
Yeah. I was thinking, next time, would you be allowed to put the game on the screen too, or is that some kind of copyright infringement? You can't, huh?
That would definitely be a copyright infringement. Though, funny enough, there are other applications that allow you to actually. NBA has a deal with another one that actually allows you to stream the game and do commentary, which is really cool.
Really?
Maybe if we do, yes, playback for those who have never tried it. But they do not have a deal with the SEC or CBS, so. That's why we're doing it this way.
So
Yeah.
a big in-season tourney game, maybe a quarterfinal. We should do this for Monday or Tuesday
Hey,
night.
quarterfinal Tuesday night. Knicks and Bucks. Big matchup.
I got yelled at today. EJ, I got in a fight at the basketball court today, an argument, because I complained about how I'm being marketed to by the in-season tournament, and somebody called me a boomer. But then my buddy who's 22 is like, no, I wouldn't watch that in a million years. And it was totally tore apart the whole basketball room. We fought for about an hour. Oh, here we go.
But the fact that you guys are fighting about it shows you that what the NBA wants is working. It's driving conversation.
Yeah. Oh, no. I'm sure more people are going to be watching the in-season tournament than this game, EJ. It's totally driving just wild engagement.
Well,
No, wait,
again,
here's-
pay attention. The in-season tournament's on Tuesdays and Fridays. This is a Saturday.
Here's my question. This is my thing about Perloff. Every time Perloff mentions the in-season tournament, he specifically mentions the NBA marketing to him. Like, that's the part of this he finds so objectionable. It's not that they're doing it, it's that they're trying to sell it to you.
Yeah, I want attraction rather than promotion. I am so sick. Yes, it's like such a trumped up thing.
I know, but that's like, how else are they gonna?
The NBA
Are
finals
they not gonna promote it?
Well, they can promote all they want, but they're trying to make it cool, and you can't make something cool. It becomes cool on its own.
Everything had to be promoted at some point. The idea, like things happen somewhat organically, but like corporations tell you.
I just pray
every second of the day.
Pray that the Knicks win, and then they get blown out in the playoffs. You try and say, yeah, but they won the in-season tournament, and then America laughs at you.
But that conversation is never happening. It's never happening. That's why I don't understand.
Wait, do the Knicks raise a banner if they win the in-season tournament? I would think definitely that's minus money.
No, definitely not.
Oh,
no banner gets.
Do that Knicks raise a banner? Are you kidding me? They'll raise a banner if they get to the semifinals.
Wait, this is a great one from the chat. Anthony Toto says, I've been mistaken that Andrew Bogut was on CBS for a month.
Yeah.
The whole month I've been waiting to see the Australian legend.
Happens too often.
I saw a tweet today where Dirk Nowitzki said he walked into a store and someone says, "Oh my God, it's Rick Smits."
I saw that too.
I saw that tweet.
That's almost like Andrew Bogut and Andrew Bogut getting confused.
I would love it if Dirk just didn't correct him. Like, I love that when it's like athletes or entertainers get mistaken for someone else and just like sign the autograph as the other person. Like, don't, just play it off. Be like, yes, I am Rick Smits. I am.
Yeah.
Like Dirk was Dirk's probably one of the most low maintenance superstars, but for him, don't you gotta feel bad that like you got mistaken for a much worse player? Not that Rick Smith was a bad player, but like you found the other European 7-footer that was like not 10 times as good. He's 10 times as good as Rick Smith, and yet I don't know. I feel like I would be upset.
Also, Rick Smith has got to be quite a bit older than Dirk, right?
Yeah, Rick Smith's got to be in 60s. He's got to be in.
Not that much older. What do you think?
60.
Yeah.
40s, yeah.
Dirk's like 45.
No, Rick Smith's not 60 yet.
It's got to be pushing 60, I said.
Hold on. Rick Smith's
I hope
is 57.
Yeah, exactly.
And what's Dirk?
I know. A little bit of bogus just died there. He's 45.
Dirk is 45? God, LeBron would still be playing if he was Dirk.
Bogus, did you put your hood on just to like escape the grays that grew after learning that Rick Smith is almost 60?
Rick Smith is 57? That's not good.
Bogus, are you a Marist fan? It feels like a team you would know about.
I'm not a Marist fan, but you know who is? Brandon Tierney, because he played baseball there.
Oh, okay.
Perloff, they're asking for a Hermes cameo.
Oh, yeah.
The tortoise.
Wait,
hold on, but
our
our first guest is going to be joining us in a moment. So besides Bogish, obviously, he's our first guest, but you're actually part of the show. You're not a guest. Our first guest is going to be joining us in a minute. So do you want to do it after our guest?
Yeah. He's already seen that.
Bogish, for you to eat the cupcake, did you save it?
Although I've got a heart out as well because like 10 minutes from now, half my family's going to be here. So
okay. Sorry, would you like to do this now before the special?
I mean, you tell me. I guess I probably should to be safe.
I got to give you a hint. The special guest worked with Bogish many years ago. I would love to see him down a cupcake.
Okay, wait. Is this gonna be this is our first moment of the day? I feel like I should tweet this. Hold on.
By the way,
Bogus is
Georgia
gonna-
is just scored
First
their
guess
first
knows
touchdown.
me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the game.
Yeah, that's happening. Milton runs it in. Alabama defense not looking that great in that first drive.
No.
Let's see. Right now, Andrew Bogus is about to eat a whole cupcake in one bite.
Well, we'll see. All right, here we go.
Hold on, one
Hopefully I
sec.
survive.
Wait, 1 sec.
Okay.
So wait, what kind of frosting is that, by the way? It's green?
Well, it's green. So it was. You guys saw the picture. It was baseball themes. I guess this is green for grass. Try to get to my camera.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I'm very excited about the greens to look like on the way out. That'll be fun. All right, you guys ready?
Okay, wait.
Yeah,
Before you
go
do it, don't choke.
I
Yeah,
got 2 different
please.
things to drink, so I think we'll be all right.
Okay.
Face
Be
paint
choked
might have
is
been.
Okay, ready? 5,
Yeah.
4, 3, 2, 1, go. He did it. He did it.
Yeah.
He
Right
did
now,
it.
he didn't get all the frosting in there.
You
Wait, we got all the cake though. We'll give it to him.
Bogus hero. Look at you. Newsman, proper journalist.
A lot of calories there.
The things I do for
Hey!
Hey!
Where's my cake?
I'll pass it to you. Hold on.
Okay,
So-
great. I'm ready.
Welcome to Dan Patrick Show, executive producer Paul Pabst. Paulie, Bogus tells me every day in the break room, I used to work with Paul back in the day. Do you
Oh,
even
yeah.
remember? And where was this?
Yeah, Bogus and I worked together back in the serious days. I think I'm thinking it's like '06. I was doing NASCAR, some football stuff for them. He was
Yeah.
doing lots of updates all over the different channels. He was a young guy, no gray hair, no facial hair, no
Exactly.
kids, social life, all the good stuff he used to have.
No, never a social life. That was never my thing. But everything else is true.
Oh man, Paulie, it's so cool that you joined us. Thanks so much for doing it.
Anytime.
You guys got to talk to Kurt Russell yesterday. That was
Oh.
dynamite. Tell us
Not
about
just
it.
Kurt. Not just
Wow.
Kurt. Wyatt, too.
Wyatt and Kurt Russell. Yeah, I mean, I know we're going to talk football, but that was a thrill. I grew up, if you think about it, people like us have been alive for Kurt Russell's entire career. He's like 15 years older than us. But I remember him as when he was doing like Disney films at age 18 or 19, and I was 8. And then, like Escape from New York, Backdraft. I love the movie Used Cars. I think it's one of the most underrated comedies of all time. And it's sometimes on the show, you don't have someone on, and you guys deal with this too. You're like, we never had Kurt Russell on before, and for whatever reason, we just never got the guy. And we ended up having his son on first a couple times, and he greased the wheels. And next thing you know, there's Kurt Russell on our screen.
By the way, do you remember, Paulie, you and I did a thing. You wrote a story for SI ranking Hollywood quarterbacks.
Oh,
The
yeah.
best. And so fictional quarterbacks. Maggie, we've done something like this before. And
Love
he
it.
had Kurt Russell from what's the movie called? Best of Our Lives?
Best of Times.
Best of Times as his number 1 quarterback. And I think that's just because you love the actor Kurt Russell.
Oh,
Explain.
mostly that's the reason. My rationales are very shallow. But if you remember the movies, Best of Times, Kurt Russell had great hair. He had the flowing mane.
Yeah.
He had the white shoes. He looked like you want your star quarterback to look. He didn't, and he played that way too. But he had movie star looks at all times.
Yeah, but you put him over Jamie Foxx in Any Given Sunday. You put him over Johnny B. Good. It was a high ranking.
Johnny B. Good. As much as I like Anthony Michael Hall, I don't want him running my offense or my franchise.
Wait a minute, you would have put Jamie Foxx in over Cap. I feel like Cap from Any Given Sunday, right? Wasn't that like he would have been
That was
in
Dennis
his
Quaid.
prime? Dennis Quaid would have been
No.
much better in his prime.
His
Also,
wife seemed like she was going to be problems during contract time. If I remember that movie well,
Yeah.
Lauren Holly. Yeah,
she was great
in
though.
that movie. Bogus's kid just walked in. Was that Jake, the birthday boy, or someone else?
And no, that was Jake.
And did I see a Josh Allen jersey on that
Yeah.
smart,
Oh.
handsome,
Yeah,
very
Whoa.
astute young man?
Whoa.
Wow.
I know. Here, let me get him back. Hold on 1 second.
Very cool.
Paulie,
Paulie,
what's
what?
your T-shirt say? Is that
Let's see.
That's
Harvard.
Harpoon Brewing. You know me. Free
Nice.
brewery T-shirts is pretty much all my wardrobe is.
Well, often you wear Sacred Heart stuff as well.
Sure.
How's the hockey team doing right now?
Hockey's good. But we're here for football today, and I do want to
Yeah.
show you the setup.
Yes.
1, 2, 3 TVs.
Beautiful.
What
I'm
are
very-
the other,
Stand and applaud for Paul
Yeah.
Patch.
what are
Very
the other
proud.
games? Anything we need to watch?
Well, you'll notice there's no other people down here with me because my wife and kids just can't stand it when I'm down here. Tell them, let's watch North Dakota State versus Montana State on ESPN Plus. They're like, can we watch some big time football? I'm like, that is big time football. That drives me crazy.
Call of the Wild. Is that the Call of the Wild game? Or no,
That was like a couple weeks ago. That was Montana State, Montana. But right now, I watch a lot of the FCS playoffs, the 1AA, and because that's kind of what Division I or FBS playoffs are. They're morphing to that. So right now, but you got to find some of those games on ESPN Plus and other places. My Salukis, I'm a Saluki, are playing tonight at Idaho, and that you play indoors in Idaho. Watch out. But that game's I think that's like 9 p.m. our time or 10 p.m. our time. So we got a long day of football ahead of us.
Paulie, wait 1 second. Happy birthday to Jake Bogish,
Oh,
Bills fan. Oh, you handsome devil. Like smart too. So I love that you're on the Bills bandwagon. Come on and
Yeah.
join me.
He's the only New York team, so that's where that's how he ends up there.
We'll take you to Buffalo.
Yeah.
Make a man out of you.
yeah. It might not be January. Just we might not be able to visit Buffalo in January and see a game. That's the only problem.
Unfortunately, probably not.
So wait,
Paulie,
red
you're
hair.
the only reason I know that like the CFL championship is like a tight game or whatever. I feel like your Twitter feed is always telling me to get to some random game quickly because it's like a 2-point game with the trailing team has the ball and I need to get to a TV. So salute. Thank you for all that.
Well, just how that started. When I used to work with Andrew Perloff back at the Dan Patrick Show, he actually signed up, I think, for a Twitter account before I did. I was one of those.
Really?
I think. I'm talking like 3 or 4 weeks, Andrew. We were going to like the Super Bowl in maybe 2011 when Twitter was just getting big, and I was fighting it. I was get off my lawn, Twitter. What's this Twitter? And so I signed up for a Twitter account, and I was like, I don't know what to use this for. I'm not really sure what the concept is. I was very naive at the time about that. And my first tweet ever was, I don't know what I'm going to use Twitter for, but maybe I'll just alert people about when a game is going to be close at the end. Because I have a group of like high school buddies, and I'm telling you, we had this text chain since 2002, and we alert ourselves at the end of good college basketball games, college football games, and that just morphed into what I do on Twitter. And I don't know, it's one of those things. It's kind of hokey, and they're kind of cheesy, those alerts. But when you're at night and I bet some people turned off the Oregon-Washington game last night at a certain point because they thought Washington had it. So if you could help people watch the end of a great college football game, that's doing the Lord's work, I guess.
Just like I got to get to a St. Mary's basketball game playing.
I'll get you there.
San Diego State right now.
I got a great photo. Okay. Can you tell me where this is from and what we are doing?
I sure can. And I have a few photos I wish I could pull up on my screen right now. That is you and I at the SEC title game circa 2015, Pearl. Does that sound right? 2016. That's right. And that's us and Derrick Henry.
Yes.
We're doing a little thing, I think maybe for Samsung or AT&T or something. And we hung out with Derrick Henry. He loved us. We took Heisman posters with us, and he made fun of us. I've got a couple of pictures from Fox Barbecue as well from the night before.
I got to tell you something, Maggie. You're not going to believe this.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry's not that big. Is that a crazy take, Paulie? Like, he is not overwhelmingly big. Javon Curse was there, too. He's huge.
It's weird.
Big, but he's
Andrew,
not
you're right. Derrick
big.
Henry is not like, it's hard to describe. He's taller and almost leaner than you might expect. He's not at all
Looks like a basketball player.
A Mack truck. Like he's probably the same size as Cam Newton, height and weight. He's probably an inch shorter than Cam Newton.
He's way shorter than Cam.
He's shorter than Cam Newton. But what I'm saying is, when I saw Derrick Henry, I'm like, you know what? He doesn't seem like he would. He doesn't look as big as Brandon Jacobs. You remember Brandon Jacobs? He doesn't look that big in person.
Yeah.
Okay,
Wait,
can I tell you the embarrassing story with Derrick Henry and
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Perloff?
Yeah.
So we're at the Super Bowl in LA. This is our first year we're doing the show on CBS. So we're in like the big TV set, and like Derrick Henry, they tell us maybe Perloff, was it 20 seconds before the show started? Derrick Henry just had done Jim Rome show, and he's like, he'll stick around and do the first segment of your show. We had no prep. We had no idea he was coming on the show, and we're starting the show off with him. So he comes up and like, we start talking to him, and Perloff is like, he says this so confidently. He's like, I think it's really amazing that you're a vegan. He goes, I'm not vegan. And Perloff's like, no, I think you are. Like, tried to fight him on it that he was vegan. And he's like, you have me confused with somebody else. And Perloff wouldn't let it go.
I saw a documentary. I'm going to pull up that documentary on Netflix in a break at halftime. I swear to God, Derrick Henry was talking about the benefits of vegan lifestyle. I swear to God.
No, he didn't.
Actually, I'm going to take the game off for 1 minute now to find this doc.
I love Andrew. What I love the most is when he said no, you try to convince him that he's wrong.
Yeah.
That's right up my alley. You know, I rarely admit when I'm wrong. Go ahead, bro. We'll talk amongst ourselves.
No, he was like, he's like, I don't know, maybe I had like a cauliflower thing once. Like he had no idea. It was amazing. So
you know,
cool.
This is such a fun day, Maggie, because like you're watching the games and there's this overwhelming umbrella of the committee's decision. You almost wish there was a live camera on the committee, the college football playoff committee, because these arguments are starting before the game's over. I mean, Florida State hasn't been played yet, and we're debating where Florida State should be. Texas just hung a huge number on Oklahoma State, and now Texas is the hot name. If Oregon would have got out of victory last night, they would have been the hot team to pump up. So it's a fascinating.
I think things are not breaking well here for Alabama because Texas won so big, and I'm assuming that Michigan's going to win later, and because Washington won last night. You know, Boot Corrigan, the head of the committee, said head-to-head is head-to-head. Now, they always change their mind, and like, who knows with these college football playoff people. But if we're to believe he's right there, then Texas would get in over Alabama if Alabama wins this game, I think.
You're right. It doesn't matter what scenario you pick. It's almost like debate class. If you took debate class, you have to like pick a debate and you have to make it no matter whether you like it or not. I could make a case for Florida State. I could make a big one against it if I wanted to. I could say if Alabama wins this game by 1 point at the buzzer, they should be in. But then am I taking Georgia out, a 2-time defending champion, losing by 1 on a neutral site? Washington's in. And Michigan, they have to just get a clean win tonight and they're in. But the Florida State thing, here's what's big about Florida State. If they play tonight with a third string quarterback and win, is that more impressive or less impressive? I don't know what to make of it sometimes.
Honestly, I think there would probably be more. And, It's the Cardell Jones thing, but this FSU team is not that Ohio State team. But still, like to be able to win with a third string quarterback, the problem is that Louisville lost that game. It's like they're not how I liked Louisville earlier in the season. You're coming off that big win against Duke, and it's like, all right, Louisville, but like, how awesome are they, and how motivated are they going to be to play spoiler tonight?
To me, what the biggest thing is how people speak about this. It's all semantics. Like if you look at, is it the best team? Now, when someone says, "Oh, they're one of the 4 best teams," does that mean one of the 4 best resumes up until this point, or one of the 4 best teams to compete going forward? Because TCU last year had one of the 4 best resumes in college sports. They weren't one of the 4 best teams to compete for the national title, and it showed when they played. They got rung up. So if Florida State wins tonight, let's say they win by 10, they'll probably be in the Final Four. I think they'll be in the Final Four. But if I'm on the committee, I can't say to a person in the public, do I think they're one of the 4 most competitive teams in January? I don't believe that.
Well, Paulie, we had this discussion on the show on Friday, and I'm sure you guys probably had something, if not this exact discussion, probably something similar, which is, should it be the 4 best or should it be the 4 most deserving? And especially add on top of it, this is the last year that it's going to be 4 teams. So if you did want to blow everything up and basically have no consequences, you're not setting a precedent for the future, right? Because next year when there's 12, of course, if you're undefeated, you're getting in, whether you're playing with a 3rd string quarterback or a 30th string quarterback. So if you were going to blow up and go against precedent, this would be the year you get away with.
Right. Because the fallout is it's this year only. You have to deal with it for a couple of days. And, if people are going to, here's what's going to happen. Let's say Florida State squeaks out a win tonight and they get in the Final Four. And let's say they get roughed up. Hypothetically, they get roughed up in the first playoff game of the college football playoffs. People are like, well, we shouldn't have put them in. You can't say that after they lose. You got to say that tonight, whatever the result is tonight. I really, you work in sports radio forever. There's a lot of people who say things 3 weeks ago and then they change their complete tone 3 weeks from now. And I'm like, no, you got to say that when everything's in tonight at midnight.
Oh, the number one thing about that is like the going for it on fourth down, or should they have kicked the field goal?
Right.
Like if you call, you got to go process over results on that one. If you hate it, you got to hate it before the ball is snapped. Or
we are such on the same page here. By the way, Perloff, you go take a
Where
break,
is
Perloff.
he?
Go check on the kids. Go to swim practice, whatever you got to do.
He's looking for this Derrick Henry documentary that does not exist because Derrick Henry himself said it doesn't exist.
Right. You're looking for people named Derrick or Henry who are vegan. That won't conflate to one person, Perloff. But you're right, though. Like when I'm watching a football game and there's a timeout and it's 4th and 1 and everyone's like, they should go for it. They should go for it. And then they get stuffed. Let's say whatever team you're talking about. And it's like, I told you they shouldn't do it. I almost wish there was like a pause button on earth where we could all pause in sports media and say, weigh in real quick, I've done that on Twitter before. If there's a timeout, I'm like, what should they do? Should they go for it? And you have about on Twitter, maybe 45 seconds worth of responses. Yeah. But sometimes you get a couple hundred responses in 45 seconds. And people are like, they should absolutely go for it. And then the quarterback gets stuffed and like, what were you thinking? You got to kick it and take the points. It's almost like you have to decide before the results are in.
I think coaches get fired off of this kind of stuff.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Jalen Milroe just had a really nice run here. He's about to have another one. We know that he can use his legs. Paulie, I think that Jalen Milroe watched Anthony Richardson go 4th overall in the draft last year and is just like, that could be me. I mean, he's playing in a bigger game right now than Anthony Richardson ever played in at Florida. And I like Richardson. I was bummed that he got hurt because I like watching him play. This is not an indictment on Richardson. I think Milroe, like, I guess he can just make tons of money if he just comes back to Alabama. I would go to the draft if I were him.
I haven't thought about that yet of him in the draft because like last week, he was one play away from causing them to lose. He had a play where he got sacked and he couldn't give up the sack, and then he threw the ball in the last minute of the game against Auburn. He was 2 yards over the line of scrimmage and he threw a pass. I mean, he did that
twice in the game.
Yeah, I mean, he was making some serious mistakes last week, and he bailed himself out with that great pass and catch. Mm-hmm. But like when you look at Milroe, I mean, I'm at the point now where I'm never going to say never about anybody, because if I told you 5 years ago Jalen Hurts would be the likely forerunner for MVP in the NFL, not one person anywhere, when he was getting replaced at Alabama and he couldn't even keep his job, he had to go to Oklahoma and take a 1-year opening. And hey, guess what? This guy who plays like a big halfback and throws a little bit is going to be beating out Patrick Mahomes for the MVP in 5 years. It doesn't even equate. So like, I can make a lot of critiques about Milroe, and I think he's very haphazard, but also electric with his legs. But that doesn't mean in 4 years he can't be great, and vice versa. Like I look at Drake May, and I watch a lot of college football, a disturbing amount. And when I watch Drake May, I'm like, when am I going to see it? When am I going to see him go 4 quarters and light a team up, and the score is 50-20? And every North Carolina game this year, they were either in it or out of it in the 4th quarter, and they're like a tick above an average team. I'm like, I know he's got all the tools and he looks the part and he's tall and he's got the big rangy arm. However, where are the wins? And I know you could go back 100 years ago to John Elway didn't win anything in college, and look how great he was. So with this quarterback stuff, it's fascinatingly unscientific.
Agree with you. I think that Drake May, it's like, last year, I feel like there were less questions, but now he's got the reputation, and like I think the draft process is going to help someone like him so much, because he's going to look amazing at the combine. He's going to, like all the pro day is going to be like chef's kiss, all that stuff is going to help. And I just think now, like Perloff and I talk about this a lot. Meanwhile, Perloff has gone AWOL. I don't know.
That's right.
You Maggie and Perloff show now.
Run your errands. Maggie and I got it.
Yeah, actually, someone in the chat who said you've been foisted now upon. Like, this is what he did. He was like, Paulie, come join the chat. By the way, I'm leaving.
That's great.
So I think like what you're seeing now with some of these quarterbacks, I think that the NFL is like, listen, if you can run, he's back. If you can run, that can get you through your first year or two, and then we can turn you into a good passer. We'll get a great wide receiver. We'll help you with your accuracy. But if you can run, you can actually win games for us in your rookie year. Welcome back, Perloff. Where are you been?
Dude, wonders for you. And as you guys talk about Justin Fields, he can run, and they're not winning any games. So what does that mean?
Okay, I'm glad you brought this up, because I'm ready to unleash a Justin Fields take. Whoa. I've been sitting on it for about 4 days, and I'd like to workshop it here if you don't mind. So I'm of the belief, and this is Bears fan also media person Paul talking. So I think you should probably use, if you get the number 1 draft pick and you're the Bears, you should probably use it on the best, whoever you think is the best quarterback. Let's just say it's Caleb Williams, but whomever.
Right.
Because it's like passing on Andrew Luck or passing on certain players like that. It's dangerous. Perloff, you're kind of in the same boat like me. If the Bears can go to Caleb Williams on a rookie contract and restart their quarterback clock financially, great. Now, if you stay with Justin Fields in the offseason, you got to pick up his 5th-year option probably, and then you're pretty much putting all your eggs in his basket, because the odds are you're not going to have Carolina's draft pick next year. You're going to have your own, and the Bears will probably be a tick better with what they've got on their team. So let's say you have the 8th pick and you're out of it. What about this midway option for the Bears? Okay. Let's say Justin Fields plays decent the rest of the year, a little above average. And at the end of the season, they say, well, we'd like to build around him. You take the number 1 pick of the draft and you either take a player, or more smartly is, because a lot of people want Caleb Williams, you trade down 3 or 4 spots and somehow you get Brock Bowers and the best wide receiver, or the tight end of Georgia, Brock Bowers, or the best wide receiver and the best offensive lineman, whatever, the best offensive lineman and the best skill position player. And that's what you put around Fields. Plus you're trading down a few picks. And so you're adding some draft capital this year or next year. Here's the kicker. I go to Justin Fields as his agent and say, here's a 4-year, $80 million contract, all guaranteed. 4 years, $80 million. Now, here's why. Now, this is only if you're sticking with Fields. And they'll say, no, we want the full boat next year, the big Mac Daddy contract that everybody wants. We'll say, we can't do that. We can't. We want you to sign now. So let's say Justin Fields, and let's say the Bears convinced Fields and his agent to take 4 years, $80 million guaranteed. Fields may say to himself, Baker Mayfield, if you gave him a do-over, he would take it. With Cleveland, he passed on that type of contract, like that mid-level contract where you're not sure of a guy.
No, Geno Smith kind of took like a little bit, something a little similar. The guaranteed money wasn't there, but a similar type of thing. Right.
So imagine he takes it and he starts working out. Now you're invested $20 million a year at the quarterback position, which is like, that's on the low end.
Yeah.
And I just think that could be a midway compromise that if you're going to go with that direction.
Build around the quarterback. So he's
now you made a decision that you're building around Justin Fields, and you're going to lose your job or keep your job off it.
Well, it's also like a new model where you don't put all the money into the quarterback. So It's like you have a rookie deal like a semi-rookie deal moving forward.
Exactly.
Wow.
Okay. So here's the one. It's inspired, Paul. It's inspired, but here's the one thing it doesn't guard against. It doesn't guard against if Caleb Williams becomes a generational quarterback, you're getting fucking fired.
That's right.
Sorry Maggie, for the first F-bomb of the show, but like, you're not going to survive that. And everyone's going to look at you and say, haha, you look at what you could have had. You did all this ridiculous things and you could have just had the best a top 5 quarterback in the league.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And that's the direction I would go. Like you take Caleb Williams, at the very least, you restart your quarterback clock and you might get fired, but you're not going to get fired for 2.5 years.
Yeah, but well, here's the worst option, worst possible option. And I know you're going to hate this. Number 2, Drake May, North Carolina quarterback. Number 2, the Chicago Bears. We've seen that movie. You can't take Drake May.
Yeah,
you might as well say Justin Fields.
Because of the Trubisky hangover, and Trubisky wasn't even that bad. He's like the 4th winningest quarterback in Bears history. I think he went to 2 Pro Bowl.
You made the playoffs.
Yeah. Is there any
he went to the playoffs?
The fact but he went to North Carolina. You can't take another North Carolina quarterback. I don't think that's the most analytical point of view, but maybe there's something there.
No, that's like the old. I think who was the guy? Kyle Bowler at Cal. The Kyle Bowler hangover at Cal was very big. If you remember that back in the day.
Jeff Tepper. Well, it's funny. A friend of ours, Jack Fritz, who's out of WIP, had a funny tweet. He goes, "This is the one college football game a year I watch, Alabama, Georgia, so I know who the Eagles are going to draft next year because they're basically going to draft this entire. That's all they do is draft Alabama, and that's a pretty smart strategy."
Well, if you look at Jalen Carter, the defensive lineman that the Eagles got, he had some off the field issues that dropped him a few spots, and those guys more often than not work out. If you go back, there's been some guys who've dropped in the draft and become value picks like Randy Moss. We could go through these guys, Ray Lewis, Warren Sapp. I mean, that play where Jalen Carter was chasing down the quarterback last week towards the sidelines, that was fearsome. He was running full speed at 360. Yeah. And you're like, and everyone's like, well, this guy's not in great shape. Great shape for what? Painting houses, going up and down ladders. All he has to do is move 3 yards at a time, 40 plays a game. I mean, he's a maniac.
How about Laramie Tunsil?
Yeah. Oh, the weed guy.
A draft night moment that will live for the ages and is a really good left tackle.
That's a Matt Taibbi theory. Draft the weed guy.
Draft the weed guy. An old Matt Taibbi Rolling Stone a bit.
Paul, I have a question. Something that was near and dear to your heart was the Heismanments. Remember the guy who wrote the Heismanments were these really cool rules about who's going to win the Heisman? Did he stop? Chris Houston, did he stop doing that? And if
he
so,
did.
And what are the Heismanments for this year? How does that determine what's going to happen? Do you remember
The Heismanments were very popular circa 1995 to 2012, and unfortunately they're defunct now. I lived and breathed the Heismanments, as you know, Perloff.
You came down from the hill. You came down from the mountain with the Heismanments.
That was the church I worshipped at when I carried down the Heismanments.
No freshmen. Yeah.
No freshmen.
Wait, was this like a Mel Brooks thing where you come with 15, you drop one, you're like, I've got 15. 10
commandments. So the Heismanments were kind of real. He basically had a flow chart of how you can and can't win a Heisman. And you can't be on a losing team. You can't be a freshman. You can't repeat. And if you look at it, most of those are still pretty true. A freshman's never got it. Johnny Manziel got it, but he wasn't a true freshman, but he kind of got it as a freshman his first year playing. But, Tebow didn't do the back-to-back thing. And if you thought anybody would, it'd be Tebow. I think the Heismanments are in play because the LSU quarterback, it's tough. His stats are insane. His running stats, and I think he's leading the SEC in rushing at the quarterback position, like Johnny Manziel did.
Yeah.
And the LSU quarterback, I'm all for him winning the Heisman, but I could see the point of not, because you're supposed to raise your team up to new heights as when you win the Heisman. And Michael Penix is raising his team up to new heights. His stats, he doesn't run, but I can make the case for either.
But the voters, the last thing they're going to see is Penix on Friday night, not James Daniels.
So one tidbit, Maggie, because again, I'm a Heisman maniac. They opened up the ballots last week. Only an absolute psychopath votes before college football championship weekend. I think anyone who votes on a Heisman before this weekend should be asked to leave the premises. And, the country. But so most of the votes, I would say 90% of the votes will come in during the day on Sunday and Monday morning. So Penix did have a monster game, but it was a win, and he was responsible for it.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels not playing.
I'll tell you what, I thought that Penix was good. I thought he lost the Heisman when he threw that bad pick. And then Bo Nix threw a pick 2 plays later. I was like, and he's got it back. And here we go. And listen, he had the ball in his hands midway through the fourth quarter, led them on that touchdown drive. It's not a Heisman moment like Desmond, but it's a Heisman moment.
Oh, yeah. What do you guys think? Who are the invites? I don't know if it's gonna be 3, 4, or 5. I mean, it's clear besides the 3 guys we just talked about.
I think it's probably Daniels. I think they still invite Bo.
Yeah,
I have a secret 4th. I think they put Maserati Marv in there just to a little diversity of position.
That would be cool.
And maybe Carson Beck if he goes off today too. I don't know.
Andrew, you're right though, because it is the voting happens regionally, and someone has to go from the Midwest. And I don't think Blake Corum of Michigan had a big enough year. I love the player, but he didn't have the year stats wise. Yeah. Marvin Harrison got about as much publicity as a wide receiver can. I could see him being in that 4th or 5th spot.
Yeah, just to mix it up. Like there are 3 votes per voter, Paul. So they put a rank.
Everyone gets 3 votes. You have to spell the name correctly. You have to put the name, the school, all that kind of stuff. But if I were betting on it, I think it's going to be a Penix and a close one.
Yeah, so right now, Athletic LT is in our Twitch chat, twitch.tv/CBS Sports Radio, said, I think a good Milroe game tonight can steal some votes because of the brand, the Alabama brand.
Yeah, no,
that's
totally
fair.
Agree.
There was a couple years ago where Ingram won the Heisman, and he didn't even have that monster. He had a nice season at the running back. If this is hour by hour. If Justin Milroe beats Georgia in the 4th quarter and he does it, man, that stays in people's minds tomorrow when voting is happening.
Listen, Bryce Young didn't have the Heisman until the Iron Bowl that year. I mean, it happened late, but Milroe missed a game because he was benched.
Benched. But that's a redemption story. You got to have a nice redemption story.
Well, we're a quarter in. I don't even want to look at Jalen Milroe's stats. He's 1 for 5 for 9 yards.
That's the perfect setup, Pearl. You want to dump the first quarter.
He's got him right where he wants him.
I'm not
this is Hollywood, baby.
Off the game so far. Yeah. I mean, Bryce Young had 48 touchdowns and 2 picks or something. I mean, Jalen Milroe is going to have unless he has 9 touchdowns in the second half, we're in trouble.
Well, someone from the SEC has to be there. That's a cardinal rule.
Oh, that's a Heisman, of course. So
one of the Heisman.
Does Bo Nix count as a SEC guy too?
Maggie, you'll like this. This is a pretty good Heisman story. We used to do the Heisman broadcast back at ESPN Radio back in the day, and it was the year Eric Crouch won it for Nebraska.
Yeah.
And we stayed at the hotel that was right across the street. So all the people who were working and in it, everything, people like SIDs, all these people, everyone back to the hotel. And we we're going to go to a pub. Some guy who worked on the Heisman owned a piece of a pub in Midtown. And so we're, like 40 of us were going to walk over there. Eric Crouch has the Heisman Trophy, and he walks it back, and he's like, what do I do with this thing? Like, he's got it in his hands as we're going up a bunch of people are going up the elevator to the hotel. It was like the Marriott Marquis Hotel.
Yeah.
And someone goes, why don't you just put it in your room? And he goes, yeah, but he goes, what if someone takes it? So he wrapped it up in his bedspread from what he told me. He just wrapped it up and put it in the corner. We go down the street and we go to a pub, and and believe it or not, the guy was carding. The doorman was carding. And we all pull out our IDs. You know, some of us are like 30, 28. Some of us are like 22. Some of us are 52. It was a bunch of different people, ESPN people, Heisman people, people from Nebraska, etc. And one of the last people in line was Eric Crouch. And he goes, I don't have my wallet. I left my whole wallet back in the room because he didn't carry it because he had a suit on. And they weren't going to let him in the bar. And we're standing out there, and the bouncer was like, no. And Eric Crouch looked like he's about 14 back then. Yeah. He had no facial hair. And Eric goes, he points to and inside the bar, there's a big screen TV, and there's a replay of Eric Crouch winning the Heisman. And he says to the bouncer, he goes, that's me. That's me right over there. And the guy looks at the screen, and he goes, oh, you won the Heisman? He goes, just an hour. He goes, come on in. And that's how he got in.
Amazing. Awesome story. Wait, nothing ever happened to the Heisman, right? We'd know that if it got stolen.
No, he kept it. There was one where Chris Winkie won it. He came to do the interview afterwards on ESPN Radio. And when he walked away, he walked down the hallway and he left the Heisman at our table. And we had to run down the hallway and grab him, told me he left the award on. He was only like 40 feet away, but it was pretty funny.
Paulie, who used to host that? Who was hosting that broadcast?
On TV, it was always Fowler, Herb Street, all those guys. On radio, it would be people like, I know Dave Revson hosted, Larry Beal back in the day. Different types of people hosted that. That was way back in the day of radio.
Did Dan ever host it?
Dan Patrick, no. He did some college football stuff. We went on the road a few times, and Dan did some like pre, half, and post time from a couple of bowl games. And so we got to go to a few bowl games.
Title game too. Fiesta Bowl,
yeah, a couple title games, yeah.
Amazing.
That bouncer should have told Eric Crouch to move to safety in the NFL and stop dreaming of being a quarterback.
Yeah, how about being a slot receiver and then I'll let you in the bar?
Yeah. That was a huge waste of a career there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, what else you got going on, Paulie? What's the latest? And it's almost ski season.
Oh, believe me, no one listening cares. No one watching cares about my horrendous skiing ability.
Totally disagree. Paul actually, because I know this, Maggie, because JJ Watt once went up to Paul. He goes, I love your social feeds because you're living the life that I want to live. This is a true story, Paul. I don't know if we're allowed to say that. But anyway,
it's like an LL Bean catalog.
Thank you. Wow.
Radio producer.
Wow. That's the goal, Mags. That is the goal.
You're hitting the brand. It's just like you're right on.
I'm not a very deep man. I'm a shallow pool of interest. I like meats and I like plaids. I like local restaurants and cold weather and fires, and that's about it. I really don't have that many more interests.
Not to have like a downer convo, but like, is it ever gonna snow again? I know we're on all over the country right now, but it's 60 degrees in New Jersey today.
I think up in Maine they got 2 feet yesterday, but that's way up there.
Okay. Well, that's encouraging.
Maggie, just when you ever see a photo of the family with the golden retriever is rented for the afternoon. Just
that was an idea of mine for like family photos. If people could rent like a Volvo wagon and a golden retriever and to make their photos better, because people don't really check and see if you own a dog. They just get the Christmas picture. It's not like my friends from high school are like, hey, Paul, you got a dog. Can I go check to verify its veracity? No, they just like the picture.
I would love to see who's the person who's going to have the stones to send out their holiday card with like their house looking like shit and like everybody's in their pajamas and like, your hair's all greasy. Like, who is going to have the stones? We don't do holiday cards in my house.
Right.
We've never done it, so it's never do it. But who's going to do it? Meanwhile.
So I have one. I've been trying to get my wife to do it for years. About 5 years ago, we were at some like thing and we were all dressed very nice. I had a plaid shirt on, shockingly, and all my family was dressed nice. My kids were probably like, 11 and 9 at the time. and they were getting ready to take a picture, and the kids were fighting, and my wife's yelling at the kids, and I'm laughing because I think it's funny what they're arguing about. And my brother-in-law snaps this picture. One of the kids is hitting the other kid in the face. It's like this. The other kid's like, because she's looking away. My wife's like yelling at them, and I'm going like this.
Yeah.
Like, and I told my wife, like, you tell me what you want, I'll buy it for you. Just let me send out this Christmas card one time. And she goes, we can't. People are going to think we're the worst family. Like, people know we're an average family, probably above average. Let's let it happen.
Can I show you guys my ski hat? Talk amongst yourselves. 1 second. Vamp, I'll be back.
By the way, I'm losing a little bit of the thread of the game here because I'm so interested in what you were saying.
I got Georgia 7-3. We're about 14 minutes left.
Yeah.
I'm watching a lot of Boise and UNLV.
Yeah.
The big one, though, for me is North Dakota State 21, Montana State 21 early in the third quarter.
Whoa.
And that's on ESPN Plus.
Montana State is there. I know one of the Montanas is really good. Is that Montana State?
Yeah, Montana State's really good. Montana is also good. South Dakota State's becoming the hammer in FCS.
Oh, right.
North Dakota State's 9-3, which is like sacrilegious for them to be 9-3, but they've cooled off a little bit.
Are they the Roadrunners, or the Jackrabbits?
Jackrabbits.
Jackrabbits.
Yep.
Right,
North Dakota State uniforms still look great, but Montana, they're in a great one right now. And so jealous.
Is this Spies Like Us playing
Yeah.
out what's going
It's
on?
a sequel, Spies Like Us.
By the way, our younger producers probably have no idea what the Spies Like Us is. But yeah, that's awesome, Maggie.
That's
a great hat. Can we play guess how much that hat cost?
Not as much as you think.
Well, where was it bought? What city in America was it bought?
This was not bought in America. This was purchased for me by my mom, who was on vacation in the Czech Republic.
Oh.
There you go.
Andrew, you're more versed on Czech Republic prices these days.
Whatever animal they said it came from, it did not come from that animal.
This is not a live animal. This is not real. Don't worry about it. I do have a real thing. I'm gonna get like roasted if I. No, I'm not doing that. PETA's gonna come and not PETA King. Nah. PETA is gonna come.
Probably not before this feed's over.
Yeah.
I don't know. This game is gonna last like 10 hours.
So anyway, Paul will head up to Vermont, and Maggie, I gotta tell you, if you have log cabin questions, and this is for America, if anybody has log cabin questions, your passion for log cabins cannot be underestimated, Paul. Is that fair to say?
No. When I was a little kid, I always used to play with those like Lincoln log blocks and all that stuff. I didn't really understand the upkeep it took to a log cabin when I was 9. I thought it was just, a bunch of pieces of wood together and you sat around and looked at it. But there's a lot of cool things about owning a log cabin.
Alabama touchdown.
Touchdown. Here we go. We got a game, everybody.
Oh, my gosh.
Look at that. Alabama takes the lead 10-7 or waiting the extra point. Also, Paulie, you rubbed off, I think, on our pal Chris Mannix, because I think he also got a log cabin because
he did.
He has our friends.
Chris Mannix of Sports Illustrated, our friend, he actually came to visit me up in Wilmington, Vermont. That's where we have a little pad. And he bought a place 6 houses from me. The best thing about Mannix is he gets a house in Vermont, but then he drinks like Miller Lite, Coors Light, Busch Light. He doesn't drink any like Vermont beers. He orders pizza and pays the guy extra to deliver it. There's no pizza delivery in Wilmington, Vermont, but he convinced a pizza guy to deliver it to his house. He sits around and watches like Sacramento Kings versus Denver Nuggets games in Vermont and orders pizza.
I went into his fridge, Paulie. Remember we went in his fridge? It was a 12-pack of hot dogs. That's all he had. 12-pack of hot dogs. Maggie, he could be staying in the place where The Shining is with Jack Nicholson. He'd try to order pizza to there. That would be Mannix.
Chris Mannix is like, remember that movie Boiler Room? Where Ben Affleck's character, he's got an 80-inch screen TV and a couch, and the guy's like, "How long has he lived here?" He goes, "Been here a year and a half," and that's all he has in the whole place.
Nothing else in the whole entire.
But anytime anything needs to get done or has a question, hey Paulie, knock on the door. Paulie, hey, it's Chris. It's Chris. I've seen it, witnessed it 1,000 times. Chris wouldn't last a week in Vermont without Paul.
Oh no, that guy's wearing like skinny jeans and like leather jackets. He's fantastic. All right, so let's go. I saw some people, and I'm gonna bring this up a little bit because I noticed some people, College Game Day and other, picking Iowa outright over Michigan today. And I have outright, not against the spread.
Wow.
And as much as I'd love to see Iowa give them a game, I like Iowa football, and I'd be fantastic if they had an upset today. I think picking them to win is almost like
it's for the clicks. It's for the clicks.
It feels like it's for the pandering clicks. You know,
It's
people
like
are
you
down
want to
on
be
Michigan.
the guy. Yeah, you want to
Yeah.
be the person who gets the glory. And if you pick Michigan, you're never gonna see
Right,
light
but
of day. Yes.
yeah, it feels like some people are saying Michigan's down. They're an easy target. Let me pick Iowa. I'll look good. I'll play to the Iowa fans. They'll lose by 12, and I say, hey man, they gave them a good game. I picked them, and then like you said, if somehow the bizarre upset happens, you're like, I was on the right side. I don't know if they would actually put a week's pay on Iowa winning outright,
No.
which is how you should do your picks.
Paul, what do you think? I'm sorry if I missed this when I was frozen out for a second. If Florida State, is there any argument to jump Texas over Florida State if Florida State has a narrow win because of the quarterback injury?
Yeah, Maggie and I talked a little about that, and you can make the case either way because, if Florida State's playing with an average quarterback and Brock Ewers is playing as best as he can, I can make the case that the more competitive team in January is Texas. Easily probably make that case.
Of course. But I think Maggie and I have argued about this. I think deserve matters. I'm sorry. Like, you deserve to be there.
It does, but it's a sliding scale. Florida State with who they play and, the undefeated. Florida State hasn't been there in a while. I know they haven't, been there the past couple of years, not since Jameis left, but it's a really tough situation because if Florida State goes and lays an egg in the first week of January, everybody's like, why did you put them in there? No, you said they should be in based off resume. Because I always look at Vegas. Like if you had Vegas pick the Final Four, you would have no debate, which would actually be bad for what we do for a living. Yeah, Vegas picks the team that they think has the best chance to win at all times. They don't have opinions. And taking away your star quarterback, like if somehow Quinn Ewers rolled his ankle in the fourth quarter and he was still in and he was done, Texas would have to be looked at differently.
Do you guys remember, this is like a long time ago, and it was for basketball, but the Kenyon Martin situation? Remember, Kenyon Martin was Cincinnati, and that was a big thing at the time where Kenyon Martin got hurt right before the tournament, and they still gave Cincinnati the number 1 seed, right? And I believe they lost. I can't remember exactly, but they didn't go to the Final Four that year. But then you do have the Cardell Jones situation in Ohio State with a third-string quarterback wins you a title. So it's funny, Paul, you and I are on the same side. Perloff and I are on opposite side. He loves just deserved. If you deserve to go, he loves that. I think that's. I'm
open to both. That's the thing. I'm open to discussing both. I'm not a hardliner either way. I don't go, they have to be in because they're undefeated. I'm like, no, that's why you have a committee. Because if it's just that, then it's automated. Don't have a committee. Just put them in.
Would you like to be part of this committee if they were like, all right, we're going to open this up to media people and Paul Paps, executive producer, Dan Patrick Show, we need you. You've got to be the guy. Would you want to do it?
I absolutely would. And I think I tweeted out something about 3 weeks ago about this, that I would like to be on the committee because, the athletic director, or is it the athletic director or the president of University of Michigan is on the committee?
Oh, yeah. Santa. Oh, no. Oh, Ward Manuel. Yeah. 80.
That might be a conflict of interest. Don't you think? And I went to I didn't go to a Division I school. I didn't have the option. No, my grades weren't that good. I have no conflicts of interest. I always think about, I give this a lot of thought. Also, I'll bet you I watch more college football than Ward Manuel and all the people on the committee put together, total hours. In all seriousness, I think it'd be kind of cool, whether it be me or someone else in the sports media. People out there
Paulie,
like, well, yeah.
I'm sorry. You just made, I didn't even realize this. This should be my case as well. Cause I went to a school that didn't have football.
Even better. There's no dog in the fight.
There's no way that I cannot be. Now I did jump on the Oregon bandwagon this year, but that was mostly because I had this duck suit sitting around and I didn't know what to do with it. So I decided to become an Oregon fan to wear the suit.
Well, I think it'd be cool. You put someone like me, you, or there's a lot of people you could put into it, like a David Pollack or someone like that. But he has allegiances. I like him. I think he's a well thought out guy. But with someone with no allegiances who watches a truckload of college football and could be like maybe a little bit of a spokesperson and speak to the media coherently, because some of these people who do interviews, they're not good interviews. And I think, again, I'm using myself example, but I could name 20 other people like me and you who'd be good in this type of situation. We are the voice of the fan, and we're somewhat objective, and we are looking out for the fan, and we have no business interests in it. So it'd be nice to have someone like that on the committee.
I feel like we should write a strongly worded letter or something.
I would like a letter of recommendation or something if I could find someone, 8th grade teachers from it. I would probably have the lowest career. I'd have the lowest career GPA of anyone on the committee. That I can guarantee you. But C's get degrees. Remember that, kids.
Do you know that I've worked with someone who is another proud Saluki,
Who's
the
that?
one and only Bart Scott.
Oh, that's right. He was a heck of a player. He was a little after my time, but we've only have a handful of guys who went to the pros, but I did see a few of his games on TV.
He's he had yada yadas all over a lot of what happened at Southern Illinois. It's like, what happened? Like, it's like basically Bart's life like went from living in Detroit, yada yada yada. I'm on the Ravens. Like,
Right.
what
Yeah.
happened
Ending
in the
up playing
middle part?
football at a small school in Southern Illinois is kind of random out of nowhere.
Oh man, where is Perloff doing a wardrobe change? That's what Garcia Gomez says. He's got to be doing a wardrobe
He's
change.
probably picking up takeout, probably like little ramen down the street in Brooklyn.
I mean, Paul, you're amazing to he lost a connection. Oh no. Paul, you're amazing for just hanging. I know you're watching the game anyway, but
Let me tell you, Megs, I'm going to be sitting on this couch for the next 7 hours. So whether this phone is in my hand or not, I'll be right here.
now they're putting up the Costanza picture when he's got the big hat on. It looks like
Is that my gift prize for being on the show? I get one of those hats?
I'll send it to Vermont. And you guys can have it for your
That'd be
holiday
gorgeous.
photo.
All right, so I'm gonna Perloff is gonna come back in. I'm gonna get ready for the second quarter. We got 3 TVs working. I think I could use another TV here. We went to the bench.
Look at that. What's EJ's here? What
Hey, Paul.
Hey, how are you, man? Good to meet you.
EJ
Hey, good to
Stewart,
meet you.
our
From one
executive
EP to
producer.
another.
Now I got to give you a couple tips. You and I
Okay.
haven't talked yet, and you may know this already because you've been working with Perloff for a while. Make sure he's fed at all times. When he doesn't eat, he's really salty. He can't focus. He'll snap like a little, like a key, like that. So make sure there's food around.
It's funny. I actually think I got lucky because ever since he did that peanut butter challenge, he's been a little slow to the eating during the show. But
he's damaged his system. He damaged the system.
Yeah, I think he's been damaged for a while. But I think maybe 2024, I think we'll get back at it.
Paul, he didn't eat peanut butter for 4 months because he did the whole jar and then did another jar and just shredded his insides. But we need a nickname because I know what you're talking about. And we need a nickname for when he goes to that. And I was thinking instead of McLovin, it's McHayden, but something like that. We need a nickname for when Perloff gets hangry.
Like McHangry.
Yeah,
because
McHangry.
we used to go, I've talked about this before. We would go on a road trip, and I'm pretty focused on food back in the Dan Patrick Show days when Perloff worked with us. And we get to a town, and I'm like, all right, let's go to the hotel. We'll change clothes. We're going to go to this barbecue. He goes, why don't we just go on the way to the hotel? I'm like, relax, big guy. I go 5 minutes. We're going to drop our bags. We're going to walk down. I'm up and down, right upstairs, check in, go downstairs.
I have a question, Paul. So Perloff has a bet where if Victor Wembanyama wins the Rookie of the Year, he has to drive to San Antonio and personally apologize to Victor Wembanyama, standing outside in the Riverwalk, holding a sign in French. On this drive, we talked about food. What do you think are the top 2 or 3 foods you expect Perloff to need to make stops in on his way to San Antonio from New York?
Okay, so we're going New York to San Antonio. Yeah. I would look at the southern route. Southern food to me is my favorite for variety. If you go down to South Carolina, low country boil type food, they have both barbecued and seafood. I think South Carolina is a great state for food. They have a great combination of seafood and then more country barbecue type food. It has a little bit of mix. If you go through North Carolina and North Carolina, they have this different types of barbecue. One's called Lexington style barbecue. It's got more mustard based. And then they have other barbecue in North Carolina that's more vinegar based. And I didn't really know that until the first time I went to North Carolina. What type of barbecue are you interested in? I didn't know there were kinds. I'm from Chicago. We had one kind, ribs with a whole bunch of sauce on them. Yeah. So North Carolina has a lot of stuff. And then if you get down to Texas, before you go through down to San Antonio, if you want to really put the screws to them, there's a place in Amarillo, Texas called the Big Texan Steak Ranch, right there by I-40. And it's like that. Remember that movie with John Candy where he eats the steak, the old
96er.
The old 96er.
Yeah, the great outdoors.
That. It's a real place. It's right off an off ramp. The whole area is a little sketchy. It's just north of Amarillo. And then in San Antonio, I would say breakfast burritos, huge breakfast burrito town.
So this is why he's like, no, I want to lose the bet so I can go for these like
Oh, yeah.
breakfast tacos. And I'm like, you know what's going to happen? You're going to get there and the place is going to have closed 6 years ago and you're going to have no idea they went out of business. Although in the chat, so Maggie's Karaoke Pants, who's Weedo and hangs with us. How about McDiva for when he gets hangry?
He's been called that before.
McDiva?
As a guy who's worked with Perloff for over a decade, I can assure you people I know have called him McDiva before.
So I think we're gonna have another guest who's gonna be joining us. Perloff had to restart his router, just FYI.
Gosh.
I don't know if you
Unbelievable.
I don't have to go to like the basement of his building in Brooklyn to do that. But Zach Gelb is gonna join us in just a little bit too. So the party keeps going, even if McLovin has to restart the router.
That's great.
But I love that. The Old 96er, one of my favorite movies, The Great Outdoors. It's a great Dan Aykroyd vehicle as well. It's perfect for him.
Yeah, I was actually reading something about John Candy the other day. I'm a big John Candy fan. And in the movie Home Alone, he was only in that movie for one day. Remember the scene where he's Gus Polinski, the Polka Kings?
Sheboygan. Yeah,
we're big in Chicago, Sheboygan. And he was only in the movie for one day. They paid because they were trying to keep costs down. They paid him like $450. And they had a script, but he's like, don't worry about the script. Just let me go. And I love reading stories about guys like John Candy and others where they were on set for one day and just crushed it.
So meanwhile, Georgia just had a doink of a field goal.
Yeah.
It's doinked off the upright. Like when you're talking about the anatomy of an upset and like you talked about the Heisman commandments, like when you talk about what's the anatomy of an upset, right? You need missed field goals. You definitely need turnovers, which we haven't seen yet unless I missed something. There's a couple things that have to happen for the upset, and a doinked field goal definitely one. It's on the bingo card.
And that was by inches. That looked like it was going to skim in. It was on the inside. Yeah. I'll tell you, I watched a lot of Georgia this year, and they've had some average first halves, and they've had some great second halves. Like as much as I love Bama in the second half, Carson Beck's played enough games now. I don't know if I would have trusted him 6, 7, 8 weeks ago. You know, Stetson Bennett was there for 19 years, so people don't know Carson Beck, but he's had a lot of good second halves this year.
All right, McLovin's back. Perloff's
hey, thanks for appearing on our show, Pearl.
Hey,
welcome back.
Hey, Wally, I'm texting. I didn't know who to text, so I texted all of you individually saying that I had to restart my router. Sorry, what I miss? Give me the whole 20 minutes. Go.
All right, well, let's backtrack it. A lot of John Candy talk.
Yeah, I got a couple updates. Boise State up 31-17 on UNLV. I got Montana State 28-21 over. Just to recap, if you want the recap, there's Montana State. There's the big game, and then we have the other game there.
Nice.
Elite setup in the
Paulie lives
you got to have 3 TVs, baby.
Also, Isias Estrada saying that the doink field goal does kind of count as a turnover. So as we're talking about the anatomy of an upset that could happen, the doink field goal, yes, I guess that it also is a turnover. So it's all in the sauce. It's all the sauce. Okay,
all right.
We've got Zach Gelb is going to be joining us, Perloff, in just a minute too. We've got all of our fun friends have been cool enough to join us here.
Hey.
Zach,
I'm gonna jump out a little bit, guys. I'm going to jump out a little bit, Pearl, because I haven't eaten about 40, 45 minutes.
Yeah, no, I was about to say, Paul, what's going on here? Paul,
dude, I got to regroup, get back to neutral, and I may check in the fourth quarter with you guys.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Dude, really appreciate the time. Yeah,
let's be real. Paul saw me, and then he's like, I got to run. He wants no part of it.
Oh, get out of here.
Actually, I actually like Zach, and this isn't a fake I like Zach. I met him. We had a good talk last year at the Super Bowl. But your hat's really cool, so I want to run upstairs and get a cool hat.
I thought I needed a hat here.
Come back with that. I'm going to change my headgear. Actually, Zach and Perloff, talk amongst yourselves. Let me go get another hat, and I'll come back.
Wait, Zach, I'm having trouble making out the words on the hat. What's it say?
Oh, it's a TB12 hat for the greatest quarterback of all time.
I thought it was the Ravens when I first saw it. Now I see
a Ravens hat. Come on, what are we doing here? It's AKA that I got asked to jump on this stream, and I did not comb my hair today, so I was just like, I got to throw in a hat real quickly.
Can we talk about the most ridiculous Samter? I can't even. I got so mad on social media today because of Michael Samter trying to one-up you in college football with idiotic take. Not idiotic, but way too hot.
Yeah, so I guess it doesn't matter what time slot I'm on. I just get surrounded with like a dumb producer because Hickey used to have all these dumb college football takes, and now Samter's trying to tell me today that Ohio State's going to get in the playoff over Texas when Ohio State's been one of the more overrated teams in the country. So you guys have worked with Samter a lot more than I have. So I guess I need some tips how to deal with this stupidity.
Well, I did notice he was really arguing hard on this fact. Like he does not let go. He's like a bulldog. Once he gets a hold of a take, it's hard for him to let it go.
Well, him and Hickey have that like same ability where even though they're wrong and they've been proven wrong 9,000 times, they'll go to the grave thinking that they're right.
Well, maybe he's right. I mean, is there a chance?
Like honestly, it's kind of like Maggie's like probably has dealt with this with a young child. It's like when a young child doesn't get their way, they'll kick, they'll scream, they'll cry in the supermarket and embarrass the parent. But ultimately, you know that they're in the wrong and they're not going to get their way.
Wait, well, there's no chance my child has the same take as Mike Samter.
No, they may be the same size, though.
He really might. He might. Zach, give Maggie the take.
So Samter believes, and I love Samter, all kidding aside, but Samter believes that Ohio State is still going to get in the playoff over Texas because right now Ohio State is ranked in front of Texas, and he thinks the committee will put Ohio State in over Texas.
Okay, wait, but here's the question. Was that take on Friday? That wasn't since Texas just
today.
Oklahoma State's ass.
Today, while Texas was up by like 3 touchdowns before they went on to win the game by however many points, that's where they were.
No, definitely not. I mean, I don't think so. What would have to happen for that to even get even close? The Michigan would have to lose to Iowa.
I think the only way Ohio State has a chance of getting in was if Texas and Florida State both went down and Georgia beat Alabama.
No. But Samter's take was that if there was one spot left in Texas and Ohio State were both eligible for it, then it would be Ohio State.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always a tough one because like you have someone who actually did play in their conference championship game and did like smoke the other team in the conference championship game. How do you not let that team in? No. And I guess Ohio State got in last year by not playing in the championship game, but that's because
everyone fell down last year.
USC lost to Utah.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's not a hard
and
one.
Also, Texas has a great win. Like, we don't need to seriously break this down. Texas has one of the best wins, if not the best win in the country, going to Tuscaloosa and beating Alabama by 10. Who did Ohio State beat? Notre Dame and Penn State, 2 overrated, fraudulent teams?
Yeah.
All right. So, Zach, we were doing this on social media. Ryan Hickey took a bunch of strays out of this for being a Penn State alum too, which is a lot of fun.
Well, yeah.
But we know at least we know Ryan's like where his heart is. You know, he's always going to be defending Ohio State, Penn State rather. So, did you guys get to Zach? A big thank you to Zach for allowing DJ to use his jersey. Did we talk about that yet?
I was just about to say, Zach, thank you for the jersey. I don't think there was any face paint. I was not thrilled. Trust me.
You should thank me. I could have gave you a Wolfork, a Brady, a Gronkowski. I just gave you a Slater jersey.
That's what Maggie said. And it was like, I was on the fence. In some ways, I'm like, you know what? Slater, he's never caught a touchdown against the Jets I could think of. Or he's made special. Maybe he's recovered a fumble against us. I can't think of anything he ever did against the Jets that really crushed them. So part of me is like, okay, if I had to take a Patriot, maybe this was the guy. But at the same time, you could have gave me also like a Randy Moss, like somebody who I could think of, okay, beyond his Patriot years.
You know,
there's a lot of stuff about Randy Moss. You know what I'm saying?
I don't have this jersey, but if you gave me enough time, I would probably purchase this jersey to troll you. A Darrelle Revis Patriot jersey would have been excellent.
No, see that would have been
would have went right for the jugular, right?
Yeah, I might have thought to Spike and say, look, can I buy my way out of this bet? What does it cost? $500,
so I guess
$600. What do I got to spend?
I heard Maggie curse earlier, so I guess we're allowed to curse here. I do think, if I'm being honest, that it was fucking ridiculous that Perloff and Perloff and EJ had to dress up. You lost the bet, Maggie.
Listen, but Zach, just like Spike said, Spike Eskin, our boss, said one person has to run laps, the whole team has to run laps. I will grant you. We did talk about the spread before the game. Granted, I thought it was just going to be a push. Here's what I thought it'd be all null and void. Nobody does anything.
Okay.
And then Spike came in and he's like, no. And EJ allowed it to happen. And Perloff allowed it to happen. Now
I didn't allow it to happen. I told you before the game, if you could try to get points in, America's going to kill you, Maggie. I said nobody will buy that.
That was the thing, is that we all fought you on it. It was just the fact that you said it was punishment enough for all of us to be like, you know what? Because this even got on the air, we all got punished.
I tweeted it.
You didn't tweet that. You just happened to include at the time of the game the actual spread on the game,
Right?
for informational purposes.
Yeah.
Then you said if Bills win, I do this. If Eagles win, I do this. You never said cover.
So as an outside observer, I saw
Yeah.
the tweet and I saw you put the spread in there, but I never thought this was a spread bet. I just thought that this was a bet on whose team is going to win. And I thought Spike actually made the best point where Perloff could have had the Eagles win by 2, but you would have won the spread with the Bills. And then Perloff would have had to dress up in Bills garb. Like, that makes no sense.
It would have been amazing for the show. Like, why is Perloff and all this Bills stuff when the Eagles won? Anyway, we all did it. And
Perloff did look good though in that blue wig though. Let me tell you, hubba, man.
He's got all new fans. He's
Jack,
got OnlyFans now.
Yeah,
like,
you're a single guy, you know. After several beers, maybe.
I'm not going to comment.
By the way, you know what? You should have got EJ. EJ's one of his favorite players ever. It was Ocho Cinco.
Yes.
What was Chad Johnson's name when did he do a cup of coffee in New England?
Yeah, he was on the team that lost the second Super Bowl to the Giants.
Oh, right.
He had one big catch.
Honestly, I might have actually worn that with a little pride because that's how much I love Ocho Cinco. He was my pick for a great debate for the best sports cameo. So that might have been one of the ones I say, you know what, I would have been okay with it. Slater. Now the only question I had though, and now I'm peeling the curtain back a little bit on the jersey. Why was the tag still on it? Are you going to return the jersey?
So I no. I got the jersey 2 years ago, and I just have not worn it yet. And it's funny, I did not realize that there was a tag on the jersey until I picked it up yesterday from the studio, and I go, "Oh, I never took the tags off this thing." So I have not worn the Slater jersey yet, but he's getting up there in age. I think Steve Tasker should be a Hall of Famer. I think Slater should be a Hall of Famer as well. So I thought, let me get a little bit ahead of the curve on the Slater jersey before eventually goes into the Hall.
10-time Pro Bowler, right? He might make it. He might make it.
Yeah, and his dad's in Hall of Fame too.
We thought maybe the day he gets into the Patriots Ring of Honor, you'll finally return it. I think honestly, I didn't think about the Vince Wilfork jersey. That he's kind of hard to hate.
The butt fumble would have been good for the Jet fan too.
But see, the only thing, and you guys probably can't see, rocking a Miami Hurricane. Shout out to Sean Taylor.
Right.
Oh, that's right. You are a Miami Hurricane honk. But everyone loves a fat guy, and Wilfork was like a great fat guy for all those years. So
amazing.
I don't think that's really like a.
Okay, wait. Let's do top 5 fat guys. Top 5 favorite fat guys in football. I mean, Wilfork's got to be up there.
The fridge. Yeah, the fridge is probably number 1.
Refrigerator Perry, definitely another one.
The late great Tony Saragusa.
I don't know if he was fat enough. Was he fat enough to be on this?
Goose?
He was.
That was a large man.
You remember that guy?
Haloti Nada.
That's a good one.
He's not really fat. Fat is the guy. Remember the Packers had a nose tackle? The Packers nose tackle, Garrett Gilbert or Gilbert Brown. That dude was fat. Tony Siragusa was half his size.
Before he started to stomp and poke everyone's eyes out, Albert Hainsworth was an elite fat guy.
Good fat guy.
That guy was.
And let me be clear.
Hainsworth was not fat, dude.
Because there's rules here, like as a larger human being. Any defensive lineman or offensive lineman now just gets referred to as a fat guy. It doesn't mean that they're actually fat. Like the guy today who scored the touchdown for Texas. I don't like when people say, "Oh, that's a big boy touchdown." No, for linemen we call them fat guy touchdowns.
What about Jason Kelsey?
No, he's not fat.
The center, so he's not going to be as big because centers generally aren't as big.
Yeah, because he's a center.
Yeah, he's a petite lineman.
What about Orlando Brown or someone like that?
DeJuan Jones on Cleveland. If you guys watch that guy play, the Cleveland.
He's a large dude.
Dude, I think he's well over 400, right?
But you guys remember the great Ted Washington?
Oh yes.
He was playing like near 400 pounds when he was in the NFL.
That's a great one. Ted Johnson once said to me that playing linebacker in front of Ted Washington, you could basically project a movie off of Ted Washington's rear end. That's how big his foot was.
Joseph King in the chat said Nate Newton.
That's a great one.
That's a good one.
Big fat guy. Yeah.
Nate Newton turned his life around, right? He got busted with a bunch of weed and now he's doing something good, I think. Anyway.
I think so.
Yeah, Wilfork's all time though, Maggie. I agree with you. Because he used to wear those overalls
in Texas. Yeah.
He was amazing.
He lost a lot of weight though now. Like he's very slim now, Vince.
Get
Wilfork.
outta
It's
here.
actually obnoxious.
No
Yeah.
way.
Very
Wilfork?
slim.
Wow.
Like
Vince
not
Wilfork?
Chris Snee slim,
Yeah.
but Vince Wilfork looks like he's in good shape now.
It always goes one of two
incredible.
ways with these guys, right? It's
Like
like either they retire and they get real fat, or they retire and get real skinny. It's like there's
He's
no
had
middle
to-
ground.
I would say he's probably lost like 75, 80 pounds.
Well, I'm gonna image him.
I tell you, that's probably as much as a fat guy scoring is great. Fat guy losing weight after his career is bad. Matt Burke, don't like it. I don't need to see that.
God
like a
forbid people
six-pack.
should get healthy.
Yeah.
So true. Oh man, so we're getting close here to halftime, guys. And
Pause
this
for
is
a
a
second.
game.
I feel like Alabama's basically able to get away with a subpar Milrow game, still be winning, which is pretty.
Oh wait, I'm sorry to go back to the fat guy, Joseph
Yeah.
King, EJ, Rex Ryan, Rob Ryan.
Oh yeah,
Rex
I was
is
thinking
kind of an
athlete.
elite fat guy.
Yeah.
he's also one of those fat
He
guys.
likes to
that
suck
got-
on fat toes too, I hear.
Hey,
And
this is a family second screen thing, Zach.
Well, I heard
And
Maggie drop an F-bomb earlier.
We had F-bombs on here, so
Yeah, and it's gonna happen.
Maggie and Filter,
Larry
the new
Allen.
Howard Stern.
Hey, Zach, you're a great game time food guy. You have great taste of food. What's this weekend got on tap for you?
Well, see, it's tough because after Thanksgiving, it was such a gluttonous weekend that I just right now I have a bag of chips in front of me right now. I got 2 bags of chips, and that's
So you
about
really,
it.
really taking it easy with those 2 bags.
A little creamy onion dip as well, and some. I don't want to get my whole computer messed up, but some salsa there. That wouldn't be good.
You gotta go hell of a good dip, dude. You gotta go hell of a.
Oh, I
don't know what that is.
So I was getting a baby gift for one of my friends in a supermarket, and then I said, I need some chips to watch the game. So that was about it. Not great planning by yours truly.
You're buying a baby gift at a supermarket?
Oh, sorry, a bag.
Oreos?
A bag for a baby gift. Let me clarify that.
I assume maybe it was at Target. I was like, maybe you use that.
It was a
Target.
Dwayne Reed in the city.
Oh, okay, there you go. By the way, for snacks, I got sunflower seeds here. I'm a big sunflower seed guy when I watch games.
I hate sunflower seeds.
Yeah, I don't
Sunflower
like
seed
that.
guy. It also got some trail mix. So
Elite
Ew.
snack.
trail mix early. You got the cashews.
Oh,
got
we
peanuts.
just got a touchdown.
Oh yeah.
What
Oh,
is
another
going
Alabama
on?
again. Look at this.
So if Bama
Burton.
wins,
Let's talk about it.
so
Oh my
Bama
If
God.
wins,
Bama wins, dot, dot, dot.
well, Michigan's gonna get in. Washington's gonna get in. I guess it
Then-
comes down.
I
Florida
I've
State's
been
the
to-
interesting one, right? Because if Florida State wins, they're going to get in. I think they're actually going to lose today.
What if
I've
Florida
never looked up.
State loses and you have Georgia, Alabama, and Texas? It's
Bama and
Alabama
Texas,
and
yeah.
Texas, right? And Georgia's
Yeah.
out.
I'm
Mhm.
taking
Which would be
two.
crazy.
But what if this game ends up coming down? It's like a 1-point loss or something, and so then you'd have the 2-time reigning national champion who has been the ranked number 1.
Mhm.
They lose by like a point. You're really going to keep them out if they lose by a freaking point?
But they don't
Yeah.
have any. They didn't do anything out of conference. It wasn't really their fault because Oklahoma, I think, was on the schedule and they changed it because they moved to the SEC. But you got to factor that they didn't play anybody.
Yeah, but again, like not their fault. Like that's, I don't know,
Well,
guys. I don't know.
They put a lot of Troy State on their schedule. Georgia is not an aggressive
Michigan.
scheduling.
Michigan doesn't play jack squat.
Yeah, I know.
But they beat Ohio State. Georgia hasn't played anyone, but you can't find the way to lose.
They beat.
Yeah, I've been. I know I've been a Missouri truther, but I mean, I still think them beating Missouri at home and then blowing out Ole Miss in back-to-back weeks.
I mean,
two out of 3 weeks. I feel like that is something.
Wait, do you think that there's is there a universe where Florida State wins and doesn't get it? Like if Florida
don't
State
think
wins
so.
by a point and they don't get in, and say Rodmaker doesn't play and it's the third string kid or whatever, is there? I think there's still a chance.
I think they could claim the national title if a one-loss team
UCF
wins
style?
it. And Florida, yeah, but they're not UCF. They're Florida State. They beat LSU. They beat Clemson. They beat, they'll beat Louisville in this scenario. Like
They crushed
have
LSU to open up the year.
That was a crazy good win.
Yeah.
No, but not the same quarterback anymore. Like not the same. And that's I mean, I know that there's like, what do they say? There's like, how how many scholarships are there? 57 other guys on scholarship, but still, how many scholarships are there? 58, 63, whatever. I don't know. I think that you could make a case that even if FSU wins, if it's close, they could put Georgia and Texas in, I guess, or Georgia and Alabama. I don't know.
Well, I think the big conversation it comes down to is there's most deserving and who the best teams are. And I think a lot of times there is a lot of overlap there where we could say a team is more deserving, but then the team that isn't the more deserving goes, oh, well, we're a better team than them. Like Saban last year. Was Alabama probably a top 4 team in college football? Yes, but Alabama didn't deserve to get in. And him using the excuse last year of, well, if we were playing those teams, we would be favorite. Well, you were favorite twice last year and lost both of those games that you did lose.
Well, that I got. Who just ran off the field for Georgia? Did you see that? Who's 84? Who is that? Someone just. Oh, that's McConkey. McConkey just came out limping to the sideline.
One thing about Alabama, they lost both those games on the road last year, and I mean, Ohio State didn't really beat anybody. Well, they beat Notre Dame and they beat whatever.
Penn State. And they should have lost the Notre Dame game, Ohio State, because McCord had that ball that should have been picked off but wasn't, and then Marcus Freeman couldn't get the right guys on the field. But Alabama, to me, it's like after the Texas game, I did a sports minute on it. I was like, oh, they're done, because I thought they would definitely get one more loss, and we've never seen a 2-loss team get in the college football playoff. And then that Tennessee game, they were getting crushed, and then they found a way to have the lead by the end of the third quarter. And then last week, obviously, that would have been the most college football thing of all time. Just when people are starting to buy in, you lose to a team that no one thinks is any good this year in Auburn, and they found a way to get it done. So
they went to the wire. They went to the wire with Arkansas, who's the worst, and they were losing to LSU when they had a dirty shot on Jaden Daniels. It's the craziest schedule for them.
So I think the most fascinating scenario here is, so Michigan's going to beat Iowa. They'll get in. Washington's already in. Let's say Alabama wins, Florida State wins, and Texas already wins. Is the committee going to put Bama in over Texas? Because I think Florida State's getting in if they're undefeated, even with Texas beating Alabama early in the year by 10.
Wait, so you think that
ready?
Yes.
Pick 2. Florida State, Alabama, and Texas. Those are the final 2 spots that the committee has to pick. Who do they end up?
And this is an FSU wins.
That's assuming FSU wins. FSU wins, Alabama wins, and then
Texas already won.
Yeah, Texas already won. Who gets in? Florida State has to get in, right?
See, I don't think so, because this is another thing. We were talking about this with Paul Papps when he was with us earlier from DP Show, which is this is the last year of the 4 teams. So if there ever was a time when the committee could just totally break precedent and just say, you know what, we're going with the team that still has their starting quarterback, this would be the year, because you can't bitch about it moving forward because you have 12 teams. So who gives
it's the same committee. But I don't understand. It's the same committee. They're just picking a different number of teams. So I know,
but it's like, next year this situation would never come up.
Because it might happen.
It's a soft landing spot for the committee. There's 12 teams. They'll just take the teams with the best record. That's why I absolutely despise going to 12 teams. 4, I think, is a great number. This may be the only year we need more than 4 teams. But if you want to increase it, 6 or 8 as max, because then a lot of these games don't mean as much, and it takes away from the fun of these conversations.
It's total money grab. We know this every time the playoffs expand.
I don't think so. I think this year you're going to have Texas left out. Do you think that's good? How is that good for college football? Worthy teams.
But how is it good to go to 12? Like, do we
because then you'll have
Texas or Ole Miss anymore?
You'll have great games. You'll have lots of awesome football, and you'll have a more fair. Because the reason you need more than 4 because the schedules are so imbalanced that we have no idea how good these teams really are. We don't have the slightest clue how Oregon and Washington match up against SEC. So I think it's more fair to go 12.
But wouldn't you agree 6 or 8 better?
No. I think 8 is way better, because the problem is with the teams we're talking about, your OUs, your Ole Misses, some of those Penn States. Like, we've seen those teams. We've seen those teams against elite teams, and they got smoked. I think some of those teams at 6 to 7 or 8, they're probably a little closer to being, competitive to where, okay, maybe if we gave them a shot against the top 2 or 3 teams that they could do something. That's why I don't like the 12. I just think that there are teams that we've already seen lose twice, maybe 3 times, that we don't have to see again. That we now be giving a second or third shot to finally start winning some of these tough games.
Well, I also think it takes on a little bit. We got the Dr. Pepper halftime.
Yeah,
challenge
Anita
going on.
started
This
out
is
5
epic.
for 5.
I know.
That should be
She's
your next
really
show
good.
challenge. I want to see a Maggie versus Perloff, Dr. Pepper, whatever this is, throwing contest. I think it would be great.
I know.
Totally down. Where do you get the giant Dr. Pepper cans with all of them?
And quite frankly,
they got to be in a warehouse
Maggie,
somewhere.
Yeah.
I think Maggie's throwing the ball regularly and Perloff's doing the chest pass approach. That's what I think's happening.
So, I think they should ban the chest pass. The chest pass it's not in the spirit of football.
Yeah.
Like we know that's not how you throw a football. You should have to throw a right-handed or left-handed, one-handed pass.
It's very Tim Tebow throwing like.
I like it. I think it evens the playing field, where like anyone can win. I think when you're doing chest pass, it's almost like the Rick Barry, like everyone should have to do underhand free throw style.
Yeah. So Shaq would have been better shooting underhand free throws, but it looks so uncool that even if you are a better chest pass, you have to throw it. I mean, come on.
Well, did you see the one from earlier today?
Yeah.
I think there was like a counting error, right?
There was. We did an investigation. The other thing too, so I'll say this now when Perloff leaves so that he doesn't hear me say this, and I will take it to the grave that I never said this. Perloff is like sneaky athletic. I can't do that challenge because he'll beat me. Like I've seen he's got good aim. He was a JV basketball player at Dartmouth. Like again, I'll take this to the grave, but he's pretty athletic.
He's good at basketball. I don't think he's good at any other sport. Like maybe tennis, maybe badminton. But no way is he good at anything with football related.
Okay, but yeah, he's good at pickleball. But the thing is, Zach, this is like aim. It's kind of like it's a very similar chest pass type of thing. I can't do a challenge like this. He'll smoke me, and I'll end up having to eat a spider or something.
Yeah, Perloff, I feel like on a football field would look a lot like Smalls from the Sandlot on a baseball field. I think it would just be a recipe for disaster, for being honest.
Also, he thinks that movie is overrated.
What, the Sandlot?
Yeah.
Perloff doesn't like that movie.
Yeah, Against the Grain, another brutal take by Perloff.
We had the guy from Sandlot on. He's like, man, it's okay.
and did he voice did he kind of like curl up, or did he really voice his opinion on this?
No, I mean that would have been totally mean if we brought him on. It's like, hey,
your movie actually
come as a guest on our show. I love your movie. Here's my co-host who thinks it's shit. No way.
Wait, Perloff, I got a problem with you. When you had the guy from the Sandlot on who takes the Malo and all that stuff, you didn't tell him you thought the movie sucked?
No, I rewatched the movie. I liked it a lot more. I actually.
Perloff, you're not standing on business. You're not standing on business.
I watched it on cable. I was just flipping through one day, and I watched like half of it. I'm like, oh, this isn't Field of Dreams. And then I gave it a second watch, and it was a lot better than I thought.
Well, what's your favorite sport movie of all time? Like you have to go one sport movie.
Hoosiers is right up there. I'm a Hoosiers, Field of Dreams, Natural, Bull Durham guy, like the classics.
Okay.
Rocky, obviously. I don't know if Rocky counts. Feels a little different. I think Hoosiers is my number one of all time. And Rudy's pretty good too. I go for the classics. What about you guys?
I feel like the way you feel about Hoosiers, the way you feel about what you felt about the Sandlot is probably how I feel about Hoosiers. Like just
you never sat down and watched it all the way through, EJ? Or
I did not in a long time, but yeah, I have. It's okay. I don't know. It feels very Indiana. It feels very of the time, I guess. For me, like I don't know. If I'm picking a basketball movie, I'm picking
of the time 1959 or of the time 1987.
Of the time of the 80s. It feels very much like a 80s movie.
If I'm picking a basketball movie, it's got to be Coach Carter.
Coach Carter.
With Samuel Jackson.
Samuel Jackson, really?
That is incredible.
Wait, Perloff,
that might be my favorite movie.
We did all this in the summer. What was our best basketball movie?
I also like Blue Chips.
Blue Chips is great. Perloff doesn't like Blue Chips.
You're not a friend to the program, Perloff?
No, I just thought Nick Dolly. I thought it was cheesy.
Okay, but yeah, Coach Carter, my favorite basketball movie, and maybe that's an age thing, because I'm younger than you guys. But
Coach Carter is Coach Carter like I've never seen Coach Carter.
I think you would like it.
You would love Coach Carter.
Yeah.
So let's go.
He doesn't love anything. Okay. Oh wait,
I love
Perloff, is this a good time for you to bring Hermes the tortoise to the live stream?
Yes, this is a great time. I'm just doing a little Rotten Tomatoes research. Hoosiers 91%, Coach Carter 64%.
That is
Well,
not.
I guess I'm against the grain then.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, to say that Coach Carter is the greatest basketball movie ever, Hoosiers, I think Hoosiers is
But
generally.
I think Rotten Tomatoes. I think with Rotten Tomatoes, I think the older your movie, the better it is for you.
Yeah.
No, all the new movies get hundreds on Rotten Tomatoes. That's the one thing they get a lot of criticism. Some movie came out last year, it got literally 100. It was like a 3-star movie. Anyway, I'll be right back. I'm gonna get that.
Wait, did you guys see? Okay, I've got to check back. Now I got to go back to the summer when we did all of our great debates, all of our movie stuff.
My favorite sports movie, by the way, is Miracle. Miracle's my favorite sports movie ever.
Miracle.
That's one I haven't watched.
We were just talking to Paul Pabst. They had Kurt Russell on the show,
nice.
on DP show on Friday. So Miracle. I think I put my number one was Rudy. I think it's like, I'm not a Notre Dame person, but I kind of think it's like the perfect sports movie. It really is.
I love Rudy.
Yeah.
I love Rudy because anytime that movie is on, my father is sobbing like a baby.
My God.
Right at the end of the movie, I have never seen my father. Like, we have seen people die in like that we know. And it's like, yeah, you get some tears. Rudy comes on, he's crying like a little baby. Oh my God.
It's when the dad, it's when the janitor claps. Hey, Hermes.
What's up,
Yo,
Hermes?
what's up, boys? How you doing? That's how Hermes sounds. He talks like this. Hey,
is this your only animal that you have in your house?
Yeah, I'm the only animal in this house, but I'm plenty of animal for the Perloff household, Zach Gelb.
This would be such a Perloff thing, that this is like, most people have a dog or a cat or even like some kind of bird, like sometimes.
This is the ultimate against the grain, is that he's got a tortoise instead of a dog.
How old is this turtle?
He's about 4 or 5. I don't think he's loving this. I got to be honest. I'm just going to be a quick hello. Okay.
Yeah, I don't want.
I love that you have a voice for him.
After me.
Hello, this is Hermes.
Hermes, I will not allow Perloff to drop you off a building.
Okay.
I will not allow it.
Okay. You can probably see if I angle.
Do you pet the tortoise?
No. Hold on. I'm going to put him back. Don't go anywhere, and I'll tell you the rules of the tortoise.
Okay. Don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere. Perloff's just throwing this thing back in the tank.
Don't go anywhere on our own show.
So the tortoise hates to be handled, actually. So that was a rare occasion, according to the internet.
Could it bite you? Imagine if it bit you like live on the air.
No, he might bite you, but doesn't even hurt. If you put a tomato in your hand and feed it to him. But Zach, what do you mean? You think a tortoise is the kind of animal you'd expect me to have in my household? What is that?
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's a compliment or an insult or what it is.
It's peculiar. It fits the peculiar like Perloff kind of brand. Most people get a dog. You know, that's a tortoise. I would probably be at like plus 1,100 or something.
Huh. All right.
Michael Knowles was telling you to go wash your hands. Is that like a thing?
Yeah, I do have to go wash my hands. But every time I leave for half a second, Cap takes me off the chat, and I have trouble getting back on. So I'm going to wash my hands. Talk amongst yourselves.
Okay. All right.
Well, now we'll get a full view of Perloff's house, actually.
I know.
By the way, there was a controversial play in this in that last Alabama touchdown drive. There was a catch that was not reviewed on 4th down. That was the ball definitely hit the ground. So I think you'll be hearing that talked about. You're hearing about already, but definitely after this game, if Alabama wins, because that was a key 4th down that allowed them to score.
I saw this, and Dave Marinick, who is our associate program director, he weighed in.
Dave definitely has some money on the game, by the way. There is no doubt about that.
When he's
he
done
bets those MAC football games in like the middle of the week, he comes up to me 35 minutes in the newsroom about the MAC football teams.
I know. We're like 2 steps away from having an intervention for Dave Marinick because he keeps
1-800-GAMBLER, Dave.
Yeah.
Fading UMass. That's
fading
my favorite
UMass.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
The Minuteman.
But here's the thing about that controversial catch that hit the ground. Same thing happened on our Monday Night Football game. Who just played Monday night?
Oh, that was a ridiculous.
Was it
the Bears?
Minnesota?
Yeah.
Bears, no, I'm sorry. Thursday night. I knew it was a better game.
Cowboys,
Seahawks.
Yes,
it was like the ball.
Tyler Lockett trapped it.
Yes, thank you, Pearl. Like
before the end of the half.
Yes, I think that he had that ball, and they upheld it. Right, the ball.
No, they overturned.
No, they overturned it, but there was a penalty that got it down to the 1.
Yes. I think if you have your hands under the ball, okay, and the ball goes to the ground, but you go to the ground with the ball, but you never the idea that you would have lost possession never is a factor. You have possession the whole time, but the ball moves like 4 inches. To me, that's still a catch. We should all want that to be a catch.
I agree. The thing is, though, we do not know what a catch is. We do not know what pass interference is. We do not know how to hit the quarterback. The only thing I do know is that these inane TV refs are absolutely ridiculous. Like last night, thankfully, Herb Street just basically told the TV ref to shut the bleep up, and he started doing his job. Because whoever that TV ref was last night, I wanted to take my head and ram it through the television set. It was
they're useless. They're useless.
Okay, but that was not Gene Steratore, though. Steratore
No.
is
Yeah,
he's fine. He's fine. He's fine.
He
But
kind of stinks too, if being honest.
The guy last night, who was that last night? You're right. He was over. He was.
I have his name somewhere.
It's normally John Parry on Monday Night Football. So that would be ESPN.
I thought it was Parry at first. It was not John Parry, though. It was some name that I've never seen before. Hold on. I'll pull it up on my Twitter because I looked him up and was tweeting about him.
Okay, I've never actually heard where
Bill LeMonitor or something like that.
It got contentious, I thought, on the broadcast to the point where like it got a little like you could feel there was a little tension between Fowler and Herbstreit and this guy.
Wow.
Yeah, because
they were just like, how can you say this? Like
like we've all worked with someone that says stupid things. That guy last night was just saying stupid things over and over again. Like I lost count of how many stupid things this guy was saying last night.
Zach, our next intervention, first Marinick, definitely Marinick first, and second between you and Samter.
Wait, hey, question for you guys.
I love Samter.
Question.
All these strays.
Herbie did Thursday night, Cowboys game. Did last night. Is he doing a game? I assume is it ACC? What's he doing tonight?
ACC.
Is he doing nothing?
FSU.
I don't think he does a game tonight.
Oh, he does.
He did the game last night, right?
Yeah, I think he's doing
Probably
3 games in 3 nights. You guys sure that Herbie's not on a game tonight?
Is he doing FSU of Louisville?
I thought he'd be doing that game.
Yeah, I think he is. That's crazy.
Well, he makes a lot of money. You want to pay me that paycheck? I'll go do all those games too. I'll work 3 days a week.
Wait, but how about someone else can do it? Does he have to do every game?
Well,
do we need Chris Herbstreit on every game?
Well, it's like the Michaels Herbstreit pairing. I do not think has been a good pairing. Fowler and Herbstreit is by far and away the best booth in college football, and it may be the best booth in sports right now. That's a great booth.
We had Joe Tessitore.
Fucking Aikman, I like.
In the game.
Wait, guys, you don't like a Gus Johnson on every call? Did you guys see the story about the fact that the college football playoff to like rotate through all the networks like the Super Bowl does? Which means we'd get Gus Johnson calling the college football playoff. Guys, every play would be life and death. It'd be amazing.
I don't know. I like Gus Johnson and I like Klatt too. I have not loved them this year. You know, the Maserati Marv stuff. We don't need to hear it 15,000 times in the broadcast.
The Deion stuff was not good either. He screwed that game up. That was
every time. Look, even the greats have a down year. Okay, Gus is still one of the best.
He's phenomenal.
Gus is all time, but Herbie is obviously the Cadillac of college games. I don't know why it is. I felt like last night felt like a bigger game because those guys were doing it.
And Chris Fowler may be the most underappreciated big game announcer in the history of big game announcers. He is phenomenal.
That's
right. But here's the thing: Jesse Palmer's doing the ACC Tailgate. Will he talk about the Golden Bachelor at any point during the game or not? There's a lot of controversy.
In fact, they should probably do a Golden Bachelor watch party, for the ACC title game and just get some Bachelor commentary during the games. It's Jesse's the fact that he does that and all this stuff. I don't know how
he's got to call the Rose Bowl, right? We got to get him on the Rose Bowl to get the roses out.
Right.
Wait, are you guys like not thinking like television executives? The Golden Bachelor is probably going to make an appearance on the broadcast. You got to cross promo all this shit.
They got it. Maggie's very anti-Bachelor. Zach, are you thumbs up or thumbs down on the Bachelor?
I watch a lot of inane, mindless television. I do not watch The Bachelor. My inane, mindless television is The Real Housewives of New Jersey, which I love, and then The Jersey Shore too. Those are my 2 shows that you would not expect me to watch.
Wait, did you have the situation in the other day? Did I see
you
with the situation?
Yes. The situation and I have a little bit of a Twitter relationship through like the last 3-4 years. So he was promoting his book and wanted to come on in.
Wait a minute. How is this guy not in jail? Like that's a test. That is an achievement.
He went to jail.
Dude. Oh, he did go to jail.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
for tax fraud. He went to jail. Yeah.
Little too on the nose.
All right, 14
Too
million.
on the nose.
TJ, 14 million watched the Golden Bachelor. That is, I think, more than every World Series game.
Probably.
World Series game. I wouldn't deny it.
Probably double.
I'd rather. I mean, trust me. I'm pretty sure I watched the Golden Bachelor the night the World Series was on this year.
And
I can almost guarantee you.
Is there a bigger fraudulent baseball fan in our office than Andrew Perloff?
What? No, because I'm not fraudulent.
I don't know. I think that Phillies fandom is a little fugazi, if you ask me.
Oh yeah, he said when the Phillies lost, he said, "Oh, this isn't that big a deal." They lost a game 6 and a game 7 in their own home. This hollow, difficult place to play.
Zach,
one of the best home field advantages, and he's like, it's not a big deal.
You know how these people actually care about the Mets? Philadelphia fans are a one-track mind. You went to college there. It's Eagles, 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 then Phillies, Eagles, Eagles, then Sixers, then Flyers. Somewhere. Honestly, do you think it really matters to Philly fans? You're kidding.
Wait, I thought Penn State is Philadelphia's college team. Another thing that Perloff said that was directly rebuked by.
I said, no, that's actually.
I actually agree with that. And I can't stand Penn State. I can't stand Penn State. But if you think of Philadelphia, even though it's nowhere close to Philadelphia, most Philadelphians for football will adopt Penn State.
Yeah.
Like
Penn State
scores are their program. So
they get the big part of the sports page every Sunday morning. They get covered like a Philadelphia team.
Okay, let's do. Sorry. If you could have off of Zach having this situation on, favorite reality TV personality, who is it? And I guess favorite meaning not somebody you'd like want to hang out with necessarily, but the person who you just feel like it's just gold medal.
New York.
What's that?
From New York from
I Love New York.
I Love New York. Yeah, Tiffany Pollard. Yeah, icon.
Would Flavor Flav count? Remember that show that he used to do back in the day?
I mean,
he's like a Grammy winner.
And apparently terrible. What's the name? What he sung the national anthem?
Worse than you, EJ.
Yeah, no, yeah.
By a hair.
It made me look.
Yeah, EJ.
Like
I saw some of that singing. Ooh, yikes. We got to work on that.
Do we have that? Or do we have the ability to play?
Actually, yeah, I can. Give me a second.
We don't need to hear that. I need to have about like 6 or 7 drinks if we have to hear EJ sing again.
You can hear all of us sing. Max's Karaoke Pan says Snooki. Huge crush. That's interesting to have a crush. Snooki was better. She was maybe the more iconic person out of there, even in the situation. It was
Tiki Barber's neighbor.
Snooki?
Oh, wow. In Jersey.
Mm-hmm. During the pandemic, when we were broadcasting from home, Tiki was doing the show solo and his power went out. So they called me and they were like, "Oh, you may have to come on and do the show a little bit earlier." And the next thing you know, you see Tiki broadcasting from Snooki's house, actually. So Snooki saved me from having to do any extra work that day.
Yeah, I would say Nene Leakes. I feel like is a really good reality personality from Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Yeah, definitely.
She got famous.
I would love to interview Teresa Giudice from the Real Housewives of New Jersey
Good
because
one.
I have a lot of questions for her. I am not a fan of her. She's a nasty person, I think.
I'm a wrestling fan, so I got to give a shout out to The Miz. I mean, The Real World. He was on Tough Enough. I think he counts.
Perloff, who do you have? Best reality?
Well, the only kind of reality shows, I don't watch the same reality shows. I watch real estate reality shows. So I like that one where they sell Sunset Strip and it's those 6 foot tall blonde women. Just like the houses. But we used to have this guy, Josh Altman, on. Does anyone know who he is? He was like one of the famous real estate guys. Or I like Alaskan Survival reality shows. And there was one guy, this guy from season 7, who was a real killer that I would want to hang out with. I think he was great. Anybody else watch Alone, which is like one of the most popular reality shows? No,
but I will say if anyone at CBS Sports Radio could survive one of these reality shows, I do think it could be Perloff. I think you'd be great on reality television.
Yeah,
Like
like
Alone
Naked
in
and
Alaska?
Afraid, or like Survivor, like something like something crazy where you got to be like stranded in on an island or something. I feel like Perloff could win.
I don't really have survival skills per se, though, Zach. Like any, but I
Hey,
could
Zach.
be conniving. I think.
Zach, what's in that onion dip? Are you tripping right now? You
Some
think that Andrew
ayahuasca? Oh, sorry.
You think-
Aaron Rodgers was over earlier.
No, Cousin Eddie said Perloff would get eaten by a bear, and I'm kind of with Cousin Eddie on this one.
Yeah, but I feel like Perloff has some like Nigel Thornberry to him, where he could like talk to the animals and would become like friendly with the animals. Like I just think he'd be great in a forest setting.
They'd find out that he wanted to drop Hermes off of his balcony, and they would turn against him immediately.
No, yeah, Zach, though, you'd be good. One thing about Zach is very, very strong. I mean, I know you hang out with Deion Dawkins, who's really, really strong, but for people I know, you might be the strongest guy I know. He pushed me around to do it. He was showing me how to block in the studio once. You guys ever tangled with Zach Gelb? It's not fun.
I was playing quarterback in that little one-on-one that happened.
Yeah,
I look so confused in that video because EJ says hike, I don't move, and Perloff already starts moving backwards, and I'm like I don't know how to react here.
I was driving into coverage.
So Maggie's Karaoke Pants also says Perloff does kayak with alligators, which is true. You are kind of tough. You did.
Wait, I've kayaked with alligators, Perloff?
Not on purpose. I was with my in-laws in Naples, Florida, which you've probably been to. I was like, there's nothing dangerous can happen in Naples, Florida. They're like, oh, let's do this kayaking trip in the Everglades. And then about halfway through, I'm like, are there any alligators in this water? And the guy goes, yeah, they're coming up pretty soon. And there I am going right by alligators. Basically, I may or not gone to the bathroom in my pants just a little bit, but it was fun.
Wait, I've got to go get another
one or two though. That's the question.
The second
half. No, it depends. Yeah. Luckily, it was just one because the alligator didn't get that close, but I'm not above two. How about you, Zach? Are you an outdoor guy? Because you're kind of a city guy, as I know you.
Like I went to camp for a bunch of years, so like,
okay,
I could survive in the outdoors, but like it has to probably be a little bit more glamping than traditional camping. It's gotta be a little bougie, I think.
I feel like a weekend for you would be to go to Vegas with your buddies, not like going hiking with your buddies.
So I've gone to Colorado a few times. Like I've been to Sonoma Falls in Portland, Oregon, which was like a beautiful hike. But yeah, I would much rather prefer to go to Vegas than on a hike.
Yeah. By the way, Super Bowl, baby. Are we thought about what we're eating, what we're doing Super Bowl week in Vegas there, Zach?
Sully has already invited me to a Vegas Golden Knights game, so I'm excited for that.
Yes.
And other than that, I have not given it much thought.
It'll be
shout out to Sully, by the way. He reached out to me on Instagram, and super nice guy. He loves you guys, of course. And
Sully is the greatest human being I think I've ever met on this planet.
He's probably EJ. Wait till you see him in operation at the Super Bowl, because we'll be sitting there doing the show, and all of a sudden you'll see Sully in a deep conversation with like 3 Pro Bowlers. And
well, how about last year? He became friendly with Pac-Man Jones just off a conversation, never meeting him before.
Yeah, he was hanging out with him on Friday.
Yeah,
Thursday, whenever we had him on.
Sully is the greatest radio producer that's never been a radio producer.
Yeah,
like he could talk to anybody.
He did early in his career. He worked in Florida. He was in TV or radio. He did a little bit of sports. Then he went into a different direction. But he picked up some skills. But that dude, he's almost too good at this because he's like he could talk to anyone of any walk of life
for an hour.
Really, for an hour.
And you would walk up. I'm like, oh, how do you know that person? He goes, I don't. I just met him about like 5 minutes ago for the first time.
Oh my God, it's a helmet on.
Had a Notre Dame or a Saints helmet?
It's actually an Army Navy helmet.
Oh, okay.
From the Army Navy game. For some reason, this ended up in my possession.
Maggie's in concussion protocol right now. It looks like
I look like Lord Helmet from
You look like a toddler that puts on a helmet. It's way too big on you.
Ludicrous.
Segue. Why are you putting on a helmet, man?
I don't know. I was just like putting on different hats that I have in my closet.
Okay.
And I looked and I had this one in the closet as the third quarter.
By the way, we forgot 2 great all-time fat guys. Going back to that conversation earlier, the offensive lineman and Remember the Titans, and then also the movie The Replacements Remember when the Asian guy throws up the eggs on the field? I think that's also an all-time great fat guy as well.
I'm confusing the offensive lineman for Remember the Titans from the offensive lineman from James Vanderbeek as a quarterback. I don't know.
Yes.
Is that not the same guy?
I don't know.
You know the movie I'm talking about where James Vanderbeek's the quarterback?
Yeah, Varsity Blues.
Varsity Blues. I feel like I can't remember the two lines. Hey, Paulie.
Paulie's back.
Yeah, I heard you guys talk about huge offensive linemen in movies, and I had to get back in on this one.
Yeah,
we're doing top 5 fat guys of all time.
Okay,
so but we're talking about the movie. Yeah.
Remember the Titans is Louis Lasik, played by Ethan Suplee, the actor who was also in American History X.
Oh, I know that guy.
Yeah. He has since lost a lot of weight. The guy in Varsity Blues is like Bubba or something like that. He passed away a few years ago. Sorry to bring the whole show down, but I had to tell you that.
Yeah. Thanks. Paulie just came on just to tell us that the actor died and then he's going to leave again.
Pouring one out with Paulie.
I have a helmet. This is at Columbia University. I couldn't get in there, but somehow I have a helmet from them.
I don't even know who their mascot is. I used to live right by their football field. Columbia.
Wait, I swear,
what's their mascot?
Ethan Suplee is not in Varsity Blues. Oh my God!
No,
right.
Ethan Suplee is in Remember the Titans.
Yeah, he looks exactly like the guy in Varsity Blues. May rest in peace.
Yeah.
Paulie, there was some slander to Hoosiers in this movie. They were saying Coach Carter is a better basketball movie than Hoosiers. Help me out. No school this small has ever gotten to the state final.
So that's a misrepresentation. You just asked me what my favorite basketball
This is clearly trolling.
No, you just asked me what my favorite basketball movie was. Coach Carter's my favorite basketball movie.
Oh, yeah, favorite. Yeah, favorite movie. Yeah. That's a whole different topic. That's understandable. It's wrong, but understandable.
I hear you. That's a good point. That's a good point. But EJ, our producer, said that there's no way. He said that, basically said only old people like Hoosiers in so many words.
Probably fair. Probably fair. So the reason I jump back in here is we're on the cusp of chaos, and
yes, we are.
If Alabama beats Georgia, and especially if they somehow beat Georgia by more than 10 points, it's going to be really, really fascinating to see what happens here, because you're going to have like 3 or 4 different options of where to go, and then. What if Florida State wins big tonight or something like that? Or Florida State loses and this is really fascinating 6 hours.
As we just saw Alabama Georgia gets stuffed. So here's the thing. I think that if FSU only wins by like a point or something, that's where the real let alone if they lose. If they lose, then we're definitely getting major chaos. But if they win by like a point or escape in like an overtime, then what the hell do you do?
I agree, but
out if they lose. I think Georgia's out if they lose. I don't see how they get in.
I do, but like a 2-time defending champ losing on a neutral site when they've had a spotless season, it's like if you look at their resume, it's so close. And then like Texas is ahead of Alabama. Should they not be ahead of Alabama 2 hours from now, 3 hours from now? It's like there's 5 teams for 4 spots.
Yeah. So, Paulie, I think very highly of you. So this will determine how highly I think of you moving forward. 12 is too many teams, correct? Just 6 or 8.
Yeah, it is too many teams. 12 does it when you say it devalues the regular season. It devalues September. September games are less drastic. A loss is less drastic. A win is less of a big deal, and it does make for more relevant games in November. That is one bonus of it. But it takes away a lot of overall tension of the sport in the first
and the rivalries,
2.5 months. Yeah, no doubt.
Being at Ohio State, Michigan, that's always going to be a great game. But being there last weekend, if there is 12 teams next year, that's not a do or die game. Like you still want to win the game. There's still a lot on the line, but it's a landing spot for Ohio State, a soft landing spot when they lose.
Yeah, but
it does. It takes away galactic size feeling regular season games. There will never be an Ohio State-Michigan game near that again. It just can't happen because if they're both undefeated, they're just playing for seedings. And you remember years ago,
they would both have like 3 losses for that to be.
For 95% of the rivalry, there was no college football playoff. The college football playoff started in 2014, and Ohio State and Michigan weren't playing for the title. Like they just hated each other. So
it takes a newer. So Ohio State-Michigan is always a big deal to them. It's not always a big deal to everyone on earth. I say football earth. So yeah, there's good and bad. I do think 12 is too many because like Penn State could get in with a 12-team playoff. Penn State belongs nowhere near in a playoff right now with the state of their franchise. Like I would put in Ole Miss before I put in Penn State. It seemed like they could win a game, but 12 is drastic. But once they had the opening and they're going to go to 8, like why don't we just go to 12 and we'll make $50 million more dollars.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's a total money grab thing. And I think that for our purposes, like if people are into the sports media part of it, like, do you want us arguing whether, Alabama and Texas are going to get in, or do you want us arguing that Tulane and Ole Miss are going to get in? Like, it's just not, no offense to those franchises. It's just there's not as much juice potentially with those arguments.
And if you look at it, college football really is about debate and argument. The NFL really isn't. When we cover, all of us here are on national radio and TV. When we argue about the NFL on Mondays, it's usually about the refs or a quarterback's place in history, or should this person be starting. Well, we never argue whether should Dallas be eligible for the playoffs, because they are eligible. It's all math with the NFL. The great thing, and the weird but great thing about college football is it's a debate sport. It's a we're better than you, our resume is better than you. And whether you like it or not, it's so different than the NFL. And some people like the NFL way better, but the NFL regular season is fantastic, but it's from week to week not eventful.
Yeah, but wouldn't you rather see who the best team is and let them play out? The other thing, you can't call it a money grab because they resisted forever to expand this playoffs, but every fan wanted them to. They're like, no, we're good, because they wanted the bowls. So they fought this for years. Like this is not a money grab. It's the opposite. Well,
I see what you're saying there. They paused for so long, but the natural evolution would have been to 8, and then see where 8 takes us for a decade. Let 8 play out for a decade.
Because 12 is going to eventually increase. So if we're going to increase to even more, I would rather have it go from 6 to then 8, or 6 to then eventually 12, not just go to 12 and then a few years from now we're at 20, 24 something teams. Because also it's like I look at the NBA. And I don't think this will be the way in college, because the regular season will always mean something to people that went to those schools. But you talked about it, people that didn't go to those schools. It's like, I just hope the regular season product doesn't turn into the way that we kind of look at the NBA, where it's like, okay, wake me up when the playoffs start.
Yeah,
right. The good thing about college football is it's also a sport about atmosphere and everything, the pomp and circumstance around it. And that kind of stuff will not go away. One thing I would like to see in the near future for college football is an overall scheduler, someone who's in charge of scheduling for the sport. Because when you see like Georgia playing UT Chattanooga in mid-November, that's not good for anybody. And the SEC and other schools do that cupcake before your rivalry game. We got to get rid of those. And I love giving the 1AA, I still call it 1AA, FCS teams a chance, but not in November. You play those games on like September 9th.
So you're not excited for Temple, Oklahoma in September next year is what you're telling me.
See, I don't mind it in September. I just don't want I don't want Alabama Samford on my TV on November 11th.
I know, but that's Samford's whole budget, that's their whole athletic budget. But here's the thing, so schedules that's like the what's his name, like Howard Katz or something for the NFL. He's like the guy. So and our guy Ani, who
remember my buddy Ani Bose schedule?
Yeah, sure.
And our friend Mike North too. It's another one that we know.
You know who should be in charge of scheduling? That's not bad, but I think someone that we all like. How about Howie Schwab's, the Stump the Schwab back in the day? I think he'd be a great scheduler.
Well, in all seriousness,
he's got a good brain.
If I could like wave a wand and give the NCAA power again, or give whatever, I would look at someone like Herb Street. Herb Street's more old school than you may think he is, because he's a young looking guy, but the guy's 50, in his 50s. And if you said, like, if you were going to create a hybrid role of scheduler, looking out for the good of college football, someone who works for like Fox, CBS, NBC, ESPN, all simultaneously, you take a guy like Herb Street and say, hey, for the good of the game, you control the sport scheduling wise, go. He'd be objective and do a good job.
And not only that, like, I don't think he's biased at all. Like, I obviously know he went to Ohio State, but as someone that's younger, I would have, unless if I knew that, I would have no clue watching his analysis that he ever attended Ohio State.
Right. He doesn't even live there anymore because of the fans, as we all know. The tough dealing with the fans by being an Ohio State guy who doesn't always pick Ohio State. He moved down to Nashville.
You know what? Kevin Nagandi, our buddy, sent out a tweet saying Greg Sankey should become the commissioner of college football, just to
Yeah,
just to have one person. I think.
But
that's
why
what
would you
you're
want to
getting
take a
at, Paul.
demotion?
Well, you know what though, Paulie, he's out there he's out there lobbying, before this game started that, one of the SEC teams should not be left out. There's a reason Duff protests too much. Like, I think the SEC is a little bit nervous here that, especially if the way things are going with Alabama up 17-7, that there's a world where they get squeezed out.
And also, not to get to COVID conversation, but Sankey was one of the reasons we had a college football season when the pandemic got underway.
There's a lot of people, Zach, you're absolutely right. A lot of people outside of the SEC would vote for that guy to run the whole sport because he's going to run it like a business and like a show, which, there are some things he does with the SEC, allowing them to only have 8 conference games, not 9. He wants to push for that. But he pushed through during the COVID time, and a lot of college football fans respected him for it.
Okay, wait. If you could do the, Bill Simmons has brought this up, a czar of sports, just somebody who gets to lord over, obviously I think Bill thinks it should be him, as no shock. But if there could be a lord over sports, who gets to lord over sports? Who gets to be the person who settles all disputes?
Oh, so an all-powerful commissioner, Mountain Landis type, like the baseball back 100 years ago?
Yeah, that Mountain Landis.
Isn't that what Roger Goodell does right now, pretty much?
He kind of does.
but not Goodell.
I'll tell you who it not is. It better not be this Tony Petitti jerk from the Big Ten.
Oh man. Well,
yeah, he's having a tough year. He's having a tough. He's welcome to the party.
Did you guys see your Mark today get booed?
Yeah, that was wild.
At the Big 12 title game? Why?
Yeah, because he's been controversial about Texas leaving, and he's made some comments about Texas, so they booed the crap out of him. He at least showed up. I don't know if Petitti's showing up tonight.
Are they reviewing this big catch right here to see if he?
That's crazy big catch. This could be the turning point here for Georgia. I mean,
did it hit the ground? That's what
I don't think so. It looked like he kept his hands under.
Oh,
yeah, but see, this is what I'm talking about. The hands are underneath, but the ball could move 2 inches, and now it's not a catch. Sports fans want that to be a catch.
Okay, Perloff, we've done this before. What if the catch rule was if you prevent it from hitting the ground in any way, it's a catch? Bobbling, whatever, holding. When you're if a baby fell out of the window and I juggle it, but I prevent it from hitting the ground, I get credit for a catch if I'm a fireman. No one says, what, you really didn't. I'm really disappointed with the process of you saving my child. No, if you catch it in any way and prevent the ball from hitting the ground, that's a catch to me.
At least you caught it. At least you caught it, unlike Aguilar.
Right? Yeah. If you hold it, you prevent it. That's it.
It is tough, but the big issue is can it touch the ground and you still have control? I think when it hits the ground, you're helping secure. I think Zach, you're with me, right? When it hits the ground, it's helping the catch process.
I'm not with anybody when it comes to catches because I do not know what a catch is anymore. There's times where I will see it. I think, okay, boom, it's easily a catch. And then you have one of those TV refs tell me it's not a catch, and they call it I have no clue what a catch is. But I think
Zach, you want to know what drives me more crazy than anything is when a guy gets 2 feet in, rolls out of bounds, he's 6 or 7 feet out of bounds, and then the ball flies out. To me, when the person goes out of bounds, it should be like the end of The Sopranos where it goes black. Nothing out of bounds should factor in on a football field.
And then also the thing that I hate is you can get the ball to the 1 yard line. And then it could fumble out of bounds at the 1 and you still get the ball back. But if you fumble it out of the end zone, then the other team gets the ball back. And the other one, you kind of saw it in the Michigan-Ohio State game. It's like if you just break the plane, it's a touchdown. But anywhere else in the field, you have to maintain and survive the ground or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right. Very random rules. Very random. The other one, we had a rule years ago we wanted to put out, Perloff. We came up with this one. A position player has to handle all your kicking and punting.
That is a quality special. You've always wanted to see that.
Yeah,
remember a running back had to kick a field goal. You were so pumped earlier.
Oh, that was like my peak.
Yeah. Also, remember last year there was a safety that for the Kansas City Chiefs that kicked one too, right?
Yeah.
What if it's the person who scores a touchdown handles the extra point?
Love it. but remember, Paulie, we were in Dallas and we got to actually kick extra points. We had on set, we had a real field goal. It is so much harder than
I've done that too. It's so hard.
I'm not athletic in any way, and a way to really put a spotlight on it is to let someone kick for the first time in their life on a national radio and television show. I look like I was using my off leg, but I was using I'm right-handed. I was using my right leg. It looked like I was using my left leg and I was right-footed.
Wait, so hold on. Paulie, for your rule, right? So whoever scores the touchdown has to be responsible for the extra point. Could they also it could be a 2-point conversion, but it's got to go to that person. Like,
oh, that's even better. See, Mags, we're workshopping. I like it.
Like, I don't know. Like, would you still basically, if it was Kelsey, would you be like, all right, I'm still going to take my chances?
If that was the rule, do you think that some coaches would start designing little touchdown plays for kickers just to make sure, like, get Matt Gay out in the flat?
Oh, yeah.
We're going to sneak
What
Justin
about coaches?
Tucker in?
What about the coaches have to kick the extra point? Like Andy Reid with that punt pass kick videos of him back in the day against like Bill Belichick would be good.
How about the coaches have to wear the uniforms like baseball?
Earmuff it if you don't want the result, but one of the biggest upsets of the day in FCS, North Dakota State over Montana State in overtime. Wow. I'm watching. Oh, what a great game.
You said North Dakota State?
Yeah, they're back, baby.
Yeah, Perloff's a big North Dakota State fan. His favorite football player went there. Carson Wentz.
That's right.
Oh,
still his favorite.
We still get personal mail from the Fargo Boys and Girls Club because we donated. Really? Yeah, because we donated money to them when we destroyed the Carson Wentz poster, because we need to like balance our karma of like destroying this poster. So we also gave to charity everywhere.
Yeah, we had this poster, Paulie, that Zach wanted to destroy of Carson Wentz.
So here's let's see if this is a
very nice man cave here.
Thank you.
This is you're gonna get us kicked off the live stream. Don't show
that's right. Overtime, they blocked the extra point by Montana State to win it for North Dakota State.
Oh,
wow! Blocked punt, you said, or blocked field goal?
Blocked extra point. Sadness and Bozeman.
Oh, he dropped that.
Oof. Oh man, in the end zone, Bowers.
Yeah, the Alabama guy got his hand in.
Yeah, he got it. All right, this is big for Georgia here, guys. Got a 3rd and 7. I'm not supposed to be doing any kind of play-by-play.
Don't you love that? Don't you guys all love that Kool-Aid McKinstry, which is his real name, by the way, is not just like a bench player at like Virginia Tech. He's like going to be a first-round draft pick. So the name Kool-Aid McKinstry might be in the NFL for a decade.
Oh, definitely.
So fantastic.
Well, I don't know if they highlighted it last night.
That's not his name. His real name's even weirder, dude. Have you ever heard his real name? It's Quincy McKinstry.
That rhymes.
Quincy. G-A' Quincy. Which I've never heard before, but nobody knows. Oh
man, this is close too. Oh, a little hold there, but I'm glad they
looks like Brock Bowers. He looks like he works out.
Yeah. Like, does he look?
He's a man's man.
He's not the same after he got hurt. Obviously, I can't imagine.
I saw him in warmups. He looked, half step slow, but he's a monster.
Yeah, the tightrope surgery that Tua had to get back that one year. Oh man!
All right, so they had to settle for a field goal. So Alabama's still up by a touchdown with about 9 minutes left to go.
I'm a little nervous. No, 9 minutes. Yeah, I'm nervous here.
Why are you nervous?
I'm rooting for Alabama.
Oh,
but I find myself. I don't want to see Georgia get knocked out and not have a chance. I don't want either team not to be in the playoff. Do you guys have that vibe at all?
Well, it's like
no.
You got to pick one or the other.
Well, don't you want to see Georgia? I don't want to see Georgia go away. I think they'd be good in the Final Four too. I know there's not room for them, but I don't feel like they're not getting the chance they deserve either.
I think the most intriguing Final Four, not the best, but intriguing, would be Michigan, Texas, Washington, and then Alabama, because I think you could make a case for any of those 4 schools to win it all. Like Georgia gets in, I think a lot of people will say, I'm not going to pick against Georgia until they go down.
Well, does that say something to you? They're the best team, and like they're not even going to be in there.
So here's one for you guys. Business. How about this? The committee, they meet over tonight and tomorrow morning. I think is the show at noon tomorrow? Does that sound right? We'll restay with them together.
Yeah.
So if you guys ran college football with the sports news cycle, would you have the committee meet all day tomorrow, keep going until Monday, and release it at like 6 p.m. Sports Center on Monday? Then you imagine our shows, all the shows we respectively work on. It would take over. I think it would take over the NFL, and we'd spend most of the day on the college football decision because it wouldn't be in yet. The decision would be still pending. So you do it tomorrow, I don't think you get enough time of coverage. And I think you could dominate the NFL and do it at 6 o'clock live on SportsCenter. And then you get coverage all day on Monday.
Wait, I have a question for you. Why don't you just do it on Tuesday? Because I don't even want to like have any kind of competition with Monday Night Football. Let Monday Night Football happen. React to Monday Night Football, and then do it Tuesday like they do all the college football playoff.
Well, guys, they need time to get ready for the game. Is 37 days later. You got to start getting ready.
Fair point.
What about doing it if you want the immediacy of it? What about 7:30 on Sunday night when there's always that like period after the NFL where you're waiting for the Sunday Night Football game? You dominate like a 30-minute window. I like the Monday idea though the best. You're right. It would dominate. Especially like a year like this where it's real close, it would dominate the conversation. But it doesn't matter anyway because we're going to 12 and all this goes out the window next year.
Well, also, that would be the easiest bookings of all of our shows because all these coaches would want to come on and lobby and like every national show would get every coach.
By the way, it's not going to be easy next year. It'd be LSU versus Ole Miss or something like for 13-12. You don't think those fans are going to be crazy, Zach? Why?
I don't think it moves the needle nationally.
I think it's somewhat interesting. LSU.
It'll be muted.
What's that?
I think it'll be a bit muted, at least, because it's more of a seeding thing.
You're right.
Just somewhere in between. By the way, Boise State up 44-20 on UNLV, minute 30 to go.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy they're in the championship game and they fired their coach a few weeks ago, Andy Avalos? Like when I saw Boise State, and I followed them from afar because, when I was doing 6 to 10, they have a great affiliate. And I saw they fired their coach, Avalos, and I'm like, a few weeks later than the conference title game? That's wild.
That's the new coach bump right there. That's the ultimate new coach bump.
Right. So you guys know Boise State's got that blue field. Have you guys seen Eastern Michigan on that dark gray field that they have? I don't know if you've ever seen it. So I was watching it. That's familiar. They've got this dark gray field and gray uniforms. So they go gray on gray. And I talked to a buddy of mine who's like a camera tech. And I go, when I'm watching the Eastern Michigan games, sometimes the field is like pixelated and doesn't show up well on my TV. He goes, yeah, that's a white balance issue because it's a mix of gray. Anytime you have grays, whites, or blacks, it messes with the camera. So Eastern Michigan football is like harder to watch on TV. That's a deep dive, but I figure we're in a TV timeout.
No, but like that's also that's the worst thing you could possibly do for your program. It's like, all right, let's take the number one television sport that exists, which is football, and let's make it really annoying to people to watch on TV. That person should be fired. Everyone should be fired.
This Fugazi NBA in-season tournament, I think the courts have been just disgusting as well.
Oh, I'm getting vertigo. It's so bad.
They look like basketball courts on a cruise ship.
Yeah, it's 100% right.
Yeah. Carnival Cruise is like there should be a water slide coming into the
guys.
Hot tub. Maybe in Miami.
So, all right, respectively, what are you guys eating tonight?
Well, I was about to say, I need to step away for a second. Pizza just arrived. I'm going to get a piece of pizza. You guys vamp.
Okay.
So when you get back, we'll play Guess That Pizza.
Can I tell you what I've got going on now? Because I've got something interesting. So I don't know about you guys, but it's like 6:22 on the East Coast. It's Saturday night. This game, like, I should be drinking something right now. I understand this is a quote unquote work event, but I feel like it calls for that. Now, after this, I have a holiday party that I'm going to with my husband.
Oh, why?
What do you mean? This
you have to work.
You are in sports. You have the easiest out card of all time. It's a major college football weekend.
Okay, hold on. They also work in sports, the people who are throwing this party, and they live down the street, so it's not like it's really far away. And
how many people?
Probably a lot. It's a
What's the
good
TV
party.
situation? What's the TV situation at the party?
Yeah.
On, like, totally.
But
you can be in a place. I bet they will.
Because tonight you have those two Power 5 conference championship games. You don't have two TVs. I would not go.
Okay.
I would not go. Zach, what about this?
How much Michigan, Iowa do I really? And
that's
am I watching
intriguing.
that past the first half?
That's
you
intriguing.
might fall asleep at the party if you watch that game.
Will Michigan have more points or will Iowa have more punts? I think it's a fascinating conversation.
I shouldn't go to the party for that conversation.
It's a topic.
Maggie, you don't really want to hang out with anyone at this party.
Dude, I do. I actually like I moved to the suburbs. This is something, Paulie, you can appreciate
Sure.
this, right? Because you live in the deep burbs. Everyone else lives in the city. So after 15 years of living in the city, now we're out in the suburbs. These are like my one suburbs friends. I got like 2 suburbs friends. They threw a big summer party, 90s party. They got a live band. Like I
And the
want to
sports
keep these
people, you
people
said.
in my life. And they're
That's
sports
pretty
people.
dope.
They should have waited.
And their
until
house is
next
cool. No kids allowed. We got like my mom's gonna be watching our kid.
Oh, that's not bad.
So you got to start pre-gaming, Maggie. You
Is
got to
what
start
I'm
drinking.
asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, get a
my-
base,
Look,
get a nice base
Casamigos.
coat.
I mean, look, Dave Myernick is watching the stream, so I mean, this could
And
be
he
just an
said
open.
we should start drinking.
Right? Yeah. He made a comment about
Maggie.
people asking for alcohol, but he didn't make an answer.
I know you're now a big morning star,
He's like-
but I remember when you first got to CBS Sports Radio and you said on the Maggie and Perloff show, expect hookers and blow. That's what
Whoa.
you said when you promoted the show on my show. So
Wow.
and they promoted you. So I don't think they're going to care if you have a little sip of Casamigos here.
Wait, Zach, I was stone cold sober when I said that, and I meant it. We've just been a little light on the budget lately. It's a budget issue.
So Maggie, I got an idea for this party you're going to because you're the sports person. Everyone knows you work in sports. Why don't you walk in with like a 45-inch flat screen, like just unplug one from your house, walk in with it, and just say, I'm going to plug this in, start streaming a game, and everyone will laugh for a second, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, we got 2 TVs. We could watch both games. I know walking down the street or driving a couple neighborhoods over, it might be tough, but it'd be legendary.
Well, so this is like a dress-up party too. There's a lot going on. Meanwhile, so like I don't know what to eat right now is also my question. Because I have a lot of food there, so I don't want to Anyway, that's what's
Well,
going
they
on.
have
with
elite
me.
food. Will they have pigs in the blanket?
Wait, you've not been snacking at any point during the show?
No,
Oh man.
but I think I might start drinking. I don't know. We still have a little while to go.
Do you guys ever go to like neighborhood parties and there's like a really nice table full of food, snacky type food, and nobody wants to be first person in because it's so pretty and nice? If there's ever like a 7-layer dip, nobody ever wants to be the first person to cut into a 7-layer dip. I dive in with, I'm 2 hands into the 7-layer dip.
I've talked to people about this. So I grew up in the restaurant business and catering business, and my parents owned a restaurant and did catering my whole life. And I've talked to people about this, and I think it actually depends from what I've heard from people on body type. And I hate to say this, but I've had people who are
You're
like a little bit
right.
larger, like Chris McMonagle, who we all know from WFAN. He's like, I can't be the first guy to eat anything because people will be like, look,
Now-
it's the heavy set guy who went
Oh,
home.
But here's the thing, though. As being someone that has been that person before, everyone is looking at you. Everyone, you stick out like a sore thumb. Go take your fat fingers and throw them in the dip. Let's go. Everyone's waiting for me to set the tone. I'm telling you.
You're
We're
like
all
the Magellan of finger foods.
Amerigo Vespucci.
Okay, who wants to play a quick game? We're going to play guess what type of pizza the Perloff family ordered.
Pineapple.
Who would like to go
They
first?
definitely do pineapple on the pizza.
Ooh.
Are they pineapple pizza people? No, you are.
Well, that's a
First of
small
all, you're
box
muted.
pizza.
You're muted.
Are you starving
Okay.
your family? Like, that's a small box of pizza.
Well, listen, I have 2 little girls and a wife who probably isn't even eating pizza. So this is what came back. I was not part of this mission. I actually had to beg for what was left in this box. What do you think it is?
Okay, I think because Perloff, I know we share this in common that he has a daughter who's kind of a picky eater. My son's a picky eater, so I think it's plain.
Grandma style.
Whoa.
What's grandma style?
You never had like a grandma style pizza?
Garlic.
Yeah. Sicilian.
No.
So good.
I know Paulie loves sausage on pizza. We've eaten pizza many, many times together. But I couldn't do that, Paul.
No, I think your guess, maybe bacon and onion.
Oh. Maggie knows
Just
me.
plain?
Plain.
Plain
Kidding me?
Perloff.
Current co-host. Current co-host.
You couldn't
Father
put
of the year.
pepperoni in my household. Pepperoni's too spicy for Emma. So there's one slice of plain.
Oh, the only title says Philly cheesesteak pizza. I don't know if they do that in New York.
You want to know a big pizza argument we had? And I think you guys will like this one. Paul and I used to argue, what's the best pizza in the country? New Haven, Connecticut, or
Great
New
pizza.
York, New York?
Like New York City?
Yeah, like New York City. And
I don't even think New York City has the best. Like, I think Long Island pizza is better than New York City pizza.
Wow.
What
But
about
New Haven is phenomenal.
New Haven is amazing.
So I will say, when I worked at ESPN, I lived in New Haven for 4 years. And with New Haven, it's hard to go wrong. There's so much good stuff. There's not much bad stuff. I think in New York, there's tons and tons of good pizza. But when you're walking down the street, if you don't do some research, you could go into a pizza place and it's basically like cardboard with grease.
Yeah.
Or you can go in one of the best places in the country, depending what neighborhood you're in. So I think with New York, it's more chance of running into just a terrible place.
You know, I'm actually disappointed that Maggie's going to this party tonight and she's not like embroiled in any controversy or any like show bits right now. Cause like when you had to eat like the whole pizza pie, I think that would actually be like an interesting situation to walk into where like everyone knows you just housed a pizza tonight and then you're going over to this party. So I kind of wish you like did something like really controversial this week.
Well, the day that I did eat that whole pizza, I ate a whole pizza in 2 hours. I ate a large pizza from Joe's on West 4th Street in 2 hours to pay off a bet. And actually 24 hours later, when I was still like feeling extremely full, was the first time I met the owner, the head of Odyssey in a suite at the US Open. And he's like, how are you? It's just like, not great, but
loaded.
Maggie Gray, like, damn good to meet you, you know?
A bunch of years ago, remember that show Man vs. Food? They did a sponsorship with our show. And Andrew, I think that was the Minnesota Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And so we shot a thing for like digital video for Man vs. Food and Scripps Network. And we went to a place in Minnesota and we ate a burger. And I do remember that the burger was 10,000 calories. It was like 4 stacks. It was one of those like it was 4 stacks. It had hot dogs in the middle. It had bratwurst in the middle, and it had like
that's disgusting.
4 burgers. It was really overwhelming. It's one of those like things for a show, not that you would actually order.
Gotcha.
And so it's me, Perloff, Fritzy, and Seaton from the Dan Patrick Show, and we were filming it, so we had to like kind of perform. And you know, when the camera's on, you'll eat and do things you normally wouldn't do with the camera on. So we had an hour to eat this burger, and Perloff's a big eater. I yield to him as a big eater. I think I'm pretty good. He and I were going toe to toe.
He has the mentality of a fat guy, but he's skinny. Perloff.
Right, and which is very frustrating. Like, he's in good shape and he eats like a maniac. But we were going toe to toe, and this was about 2 PM, and we ate like 2/3 of the burger. We did our best, and we were absolutely demolished. So we go back to our hotel. I felt like I'd been like hit by a truck, and it felt kind of not proper. Like you felt like you were about to boil over.
Yeah.
We had a work dinner that night with a sponsor, and they took us Perloff. Remember, it's that nice steakhouse, and it was about 6:30 at night. So it was only 4 hours after we ate this 7,000 calorie burger. I think I ordered like a wedge salad for dinner at a steakhouse, which to me is like, they should have called the authorities, because then there's something wrong with Paul if I'm ordering a wedge salad. And so we missed a steak dinner because we were so overwhelmingly full from the thing earlier. So competitive eating is not for the weak.
No, I think it released like poison into your system. Not being technical about it, like it felt like we were drugged. Yeah.
Wait, sorry, we just had a killer turnover in the game, which sets up Alabama at the 11-yard line. This is really all breaking right here for the Tide.
Did you see that play by Carson Beck? It's like he thought it was a little pitch, and it was more of a handoff. He was too close to it. I can't tell if he was supposed to hand it off or give him one of those little like nonchalant toss to the rights.
Man, major mistake for Georgia. This is crazy.
Well, it's a lot of time left. There's 17 minutes left in this game.
I know, but they haven't had much going all game. Like have they had 2 big offensive plays that I can remember, Georgia, in this game?
I have to run, guys, though, but I appreciate you guys having me here.
Where are you off to, Zach? Anywhere fun?
No, I have like 3 friends sitting on the couch next to me, and they're all getting hungry. They're like dogs right now that are like, oh, can he get the heck off the air so we can order some freaking food? So I feel them like breathing down my neck right now, and I think it's a good time to bounce.
Yeah, it was when Perloff put the pizza up, then they were like, oh, that could be us.
Pretty much. But
thank you, Zach.
Yep.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, bud. All right. 3rd and 9. Huge play.
This is big. They could hold him to a field goal.
Who does Carson Beck look like, too? That shot right there. Little
Carson Beck.
Cillian Murphy, for the guy from Oppenheimer.
Oh, maybe? Like if you stretched out Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Oh!
Didn't get it.
Man, if Georgia ends up losing by 2 touchdowns, it's gonna be very interesting.
I mean, then what? Yeah, what do you do? They lose by 2 touchdowns, then they're not getting in. But that also seems a little crazy, doesn't it? 2 touchdowns, considering your resume, like of the last 2 years, I guess, not so much this year.
Yeah, but can you do 2 years? The last 2 years? Who cares?
It's like reputation. I don't know.
Right. Should you factor in history and reputation?
Isn't it kind of factored in? How did Ohio State get in last year? That was off of reputation.
Yeah, and you know what? Sometimes reputation means they're going to give you a better game in January.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I mean, would have been better last year. I know this is all hindsight, but like would have been better if it was Alabama instead of TCU. I don't know. Listen, that Michigan game was great with TCU, so can't really say.
I mean, it's not like TCU won a game, so it's hard to say that.
Yeah.
Oh, real quick update. Troy's up 21-17 at App State, third quarter, Sun Belt.
There you go.
And but I used to be a bartender in New York City before as I was an aspiring sports broadcaster.
Same.
Yeah. So I was a bartender at a bar in New York that was a Red Sox bar and a Michigan bar. Professor Tom's on the Lower East Side.
Oh, okay.
Or East Village, not Lower East Side, East Village. It was like 14th, 2nd Avenue and 13th Street. And so I did a whole summer where I did all like Red Sox stuff, and it was great. And I would pay my rent in like one night, and I loved it. And then the Michigan season started. And the first game, the first weekend was the App State.
Oh no.
And it was like, fuck. Everyone was so pissed. And it was just like the most angry bar full of people. But very memorable.
That is one of the nice things about New York City and big towns like Chicago, New York City. If you look around a little bit, you could find an alma mater college bar in anywhere, and it's usually like a hole in a wall in the West Village, and they happen to like Colorado football and the Broncos.
So true.
The Dartmouth bar is called. Remember Ryan's Daughter, Paulie? I know you used to go there on 85th Street.
Yeah.
You ever been there? It was like it was an institution where. Anyway. We didn't have any big games though. What was the big?
No, not a lot of playoff games.
GW. What was the big bar where you guys got together and watched Yinka Dari play basketball?
I was not of drinking age when Yinka was there.
Yinka Dari. Now Pops Mensah-Bonsu. That was George Washington.
That was me. That was my era.
Okay.
Oh.
So I was there when Scott Van Pelt got obsessed with Pops Mensah-Bonsu. I don't know if Dan was either, but Van Pelt was very much obsessed with Pops Mensah-Bonsu. He was amazing. He could dunk from like the free throw line. No one at GW had ever seen anyone like him. And now he's like a assistant GM in the league.
Right.
Yeah. God, I don't remember this guy at all. You probably
yeah. So
the Whale Killer.
The Whale Killer. He was a power forward, really, and then maybe number 50 or 55. He could dunk really well. They had great uniforms, and Van Pelt loves all that Washington D.C. Baltimore sports stuff. He dines out on that. Back in the day when Van Pelt first started at ESPN, he was living in West Hartford. I was living in New Haven, and we got to know each other a little bit. He filled in a couple of times for Dan, and he was a night owl. He would do like nighttime sports centers, and he'd be up till 2 a.m. I worked on the Dan Patrick Show, and we were 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern back then. So I didn't have to go to bed until at least midnight. I lived in New Haven. I was single and young. Of course, I wasn't going out and doing anything fun. What I was doing was playing NCAA football 05, 04 on EA Sports Online against Van Pelt. And he would take this is back when they had 1AA teams. I think it was the 04, 05, 06 versions of the game. I'm such a geek. And I would take Yale, and he would take, some like Samford or some 1AA school, and we'd try to play against each other. And he'd be drinking Diet Cokes at 2 a.m. I'm like, why don't you go to bed? And he'd be like, why don't you go to bed? And, when you're young and single and, ESPN's your whole life, those video games were pretty fun.
Man, Van Pelt, what do we have here? Alabama got the ball back. What do we have? What was the latest? Alabama's still driving. Anyway, yes, there's no GW bar in the city. And if it was, it'd be something douchey. Just kidding.
All right, I have to run upstairs because I also have to check with the family. They've been knocking on the door, and I acted like I was on an important business work call.
Yeah.
This
By
is.
the way, which you do all day, watching these random football games all night anyway. So I know what you're up to.
Polly, tell the other people in your family that you suggested that I show up to a holiday party later with a 45-inch flat screen underneath my arm, just to make sure I can watch like Iowa to the end.
My wife will be like, "That's what you want to do. Don't make her do that. Don't ruin her life and her friendships just because you're at home with no friends and the neighbors don't want to hang out with you." Well, I gotta go.
Polly, thank you.
Oh man,
this
game is
really fun.
Kind of insane right now.
I know, like
I can't believe it's really happening. It's really happening. Alabama could win.
Should we start focusing on the game? Sorry, does Georgia have the ball? I was not paying attention. I'm sorry I said Alabama was driving, everyone. I got it. I'll start paying attention to the TV.
Oh man. So wait, you're going out tonight, Meg. What are you going to eat before? What's your food situation?
No, that's what we were talking about. So this is, I'm going to a party. It's like a big holiday party. And so everyone was getting all their food, but I don't want to eat before the party because they're going to have really good food there.
Wait, the party? You have a holiday party on December 2nd?
Yeah.
What kind of party is
and
that?
You know these people too. It's going to be good. It's a good party.
I don't understand. This is just a party. It's not a holiday. You can't have a holiday party on December 2nd. There's not like going to be Santas and things, right?
No, but people are dressing up. Like
what?
In like whatever formal attire. Yeah.
It's too early. I don't understand. I think this is not cool.
No, I think it's cool for them because it's kind of like first one of the season and people probably don't have a lot to do. It's not like you have to compete with all these other holiday parties.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So back to us now.
Yeah.
Back to the game.
Where's
back to
EJ?
us.
What's EJ been up to?
I think is EJ still there? What do we want to do here do we want to talk a little bit more about what happens if Alabama wins this game?
Yeah, I mean,
I know we have to wait to see what happens with FSU, but EJ's gone. That's just
and we have to wait for maybe Iowa, Michigan, but that seems unlikely. Okay,
it's a 20-point spread.
Let's say here's a situation. You got Washington in, Michigan in, so that's 2. So then you have Alabama, Texas, Georgia. This is if Florida State loses.
Yeah, I think Texas is Texas is in.
Texas is in. I think Alabama is in, and Georgia.
And I bet they put Alabama in over Georgia.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they can't not put them in. Head-to-head and conference title, the 2 things they talk about all the time. So it's going to be Georgia left out. And honestly,
you okay with it?
I'm okay with it. Is this a great Georgia team? You know, they lost their quarterback. They lost about 9 defensive players to the NFL. You just assume it would be a bit of a rebuilding year. Even though Carson Beck's more talented than Stetson Bennett, it still is less experience. I'm okay with it.
I don't think anyone's really going to be crying if Georgia gets left out, right? Because we've seen 2 years of their dominance, and before that, making the college football playoff too. So it's a shame. It's funny though to me, and I saw that I think Levitard was talking about this, or they put out something about this, that people like rooting for Alabama who don't normally root for Alabama is like a very odd place to be because you're rooting for the upset, for the chaos, and all of that.
Yeah.
Normally, it's like rooting for Goliath. You know,
but Alabama is usually Goliath. I know it is
Beck
weird.
Just ran into his own guy.
We have a bet about wearing a wrestling singlet if Michigan loses their first playoff game.
Yes.
So here's the thing: if Georgia loses, then Michigan goes to number 1 and probably draws Texas in the first game. But if Georgia wins, Michigan goes to number 2 and draws Washington.
Yeah.
So I don't know which is better.
To be honest, I think Michigan's probably winning either of those games.
Thank
you. Oh, my husband is here with. Speaking of food, my husband just dropped this off. I wasn't sure if we should eat. Sorry, I got to get back to the college football conversation. Thank you for the pizza.
Yeah, well,
that's a flag.
Yeah, I can grab that. Thank you. Sorry, we were knee deep in scenarios.
Yeah, I know. We keep losing track of the game. I got to assume, okay, look at this. They just put a stat. Ladd McConkey and Brock Bowers are only catching about half their targets. They're clearly – the other thing, Georgia's injured. You can't ignore this fact. Oh, my God. That was almost –
man, that would have been
Bama's winning it. Jalen Milroe.
You think so? Just
I think
there's
they're
still
gonna win.
14 minutes left.
Is Georgia showing you anything here?
No.
So what seed would Alabama be then if they did win this game? They would be Michigan. They'd be the
Michigan. Don't you think Washington would go to 2? Michigan, Washington.
Yes. Oh, by the way, we still are
Yeah.
discounting Alabama. So how about Florida State wins? Then there's one spot for Alabama and Texas.
Who do you think they're giving it to? I think they're giving it to Texas.
I do too.
I don't know.
Isn't that insane? But I wouldn't bet my life on it though, because they could just say, "Screw it, let's put in."
Yeah, but you wouldn't have a good case though. Like you'd have a better case for leaving FSU out than you would for putting Alabama in over Texas, I think.
Yeah, but I'm more of it's so hard to leave the undefeated team out because what are they supposed to do? They beat everybody.
But what if they win by like a point or they win in double overtime or something like that?
But they're playing a ranked team. It's not like they're playing a bad team. Even that.
Pat P's in the chat. Did Penix do enough to win the Heisman last night? I think so.
I think so. He's awesome too. He always he's so expressive after every missed pass. He's like, that was my bad. He's a big my bad guy. They're gonna be.
You
crazy.
notice to me he's always. Do you notice whenever he's throwing, he's always like super flat-footed, yet he can still launch the ball.
Yeah.
Like with a lot of zip on it, and it feels like he's like, I don't know.
He gets it, like no one's open, and then somehow he launches it and it lands, and they don't always catch it, but he is crazy accurate 30 yards down the field.
All right, you and I talked about in terms of first round draft picks. Sorry, I am eating this pizza.
Yeah. He's got a lot of issues though.
I get it.
He's got 2 arthritic knees. I've seen a lot of draft. I saw Field Yates put out a ranking. He didn't have Nix or Penix in his top 5.
Yeah, but you know how the draft process goes. These guys are going to get pushed up because they're going to look great at the combine.
Top 5 quarterbacks. He didn't have them. He had them 6 and 7. I mean,
who was before? Caleb, Drake May,
Shador.
Still Shador?
Yeah, Jaden, and well, he said I don't know. He was assuming that he was doing it. Field said, okay, yeah, Shador could go back, but if he doesn't go back, he's my 3rd. Jaden Daniels, and help me out, who is the 4th? It wasn't Nix. Maybe it was Nix, but it wasn't Penix. It was Nix, not Penix. And then there's Ewers. What if Ewers comes out?
Well, I don't think he. I mean, isn't the report that he's going to go back to Texas?
Yeah, the report was he's going back. But
yeah, so what happens with Arch?
We talked about that. Oh my God,
Arch got in the game today.
I think he sits another year. I mean, Ewers was amazing today.
Yeah, Ewers was good.
Good. He was
today. No, he's good. He'll win the job. He'll win the job.
Win the job. He almost set the Big 12 record for passing yards in a game in the first half. He was 14 for 50 against Oklahoma.
I know, but Oklahoma State clearly was like wildly overmatched in that game in every way.
Well, I don't know. Oklahoma State's not a bad team. They're
didn't they lose to UCF though? Or USF? Who did they lost that bad game?
Yeah, I mean they obviously had nothing to play for, but listen. It's not like Oklahoma.
I think Jalen Milroe is also another one to watch in terms of does he declare for the draft. I'm telling you, I think that Anthony Richardson going 4th overall, and I like watching Richardson. Milroe's played in bigger games than anything Richardson ever played in.
I don't.
Right now he's playing.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if Milroe came out.
I mean, listen, if you can actually make $5 million being the starting quarterback at Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, like, where's Milroe? The other thing, too, these guys all want to be in next year's class. Like, why would Milroe want to go out in this year's class with all these other guys? Also, even that play right there, he's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I mean, he takes some bad sacks, but
yeah. He still
ran right into the guy.
He's still learning, I think. He hasn't played that many games.
3rd and 19. This is he's got him exactly where he wants him. This is his play. Gravedigger. He doesn't even need it this time. They got blown out by UCF. Thank you, Michael. Mills.
Yeah.
Cousin Eddie says, I need a beer with the pizza. No.
Yeah, but before that, I mean, they had beaten Oklahoma though.
Yeah.
Oklahoma is not good. Anyway, the Big 12. That's why Deion's got to go to the Big 12 because he will whoop these teams. Just get out of the Pac-12. Do not go to the SEC. Stay in the Big 12.
I know, but without, I know the defenses in the Big 12 not amazing, but I mean, you still got to shore up the offensive line. Are we still 100% sure that Deion's not making a move somewhere this offseason? Are we 100% sure?
Why would he want to go into SEC? Why would I mean Lincoln Riley is running from, doesn't even want to stay. Oh, there you go. Oh boy.
Oh, here we go.
Boy.
Oh, it's not over. Oh, he got crunched.
Now they got to
start with really good field position.
So you're gonna be at this party tonight. I know you were talking with Paulie. Honestly, you cannot leave like a party with people to go watch Michigan, Iowa. It's just
They'll have the TV on. They'll have the Florida State game on.
Okay. Even that game might be bad. That might be really bad.
They'll have it on though. Like there's a place.
I think I got true freshmen playing for Florida State. Is that right? I mean,
do we have an update on that? Oh, is EJ back?
Yo, you guys see me?
No. We hear you. There you are.
I'm in the kitchen. This is the kitchen setup. Blondie's in the oven.
Whoa, you're doing it.
But they're being baked, or being
wow.
EJ, look at you with the automatic mixer. Damn, chef.
Yeah, well, this is my girlfriend's mixer, so it's not on me. But we're getting it going. I need to find these white chocolate. That's all. That's only the last step I got is the white chocolate.
Wait, you have it though, right?
Yeah, I'm sure I do. I just made them last week. Oh, here they go.
There we go.
Got the white chocolate.
I think we should just start calling EJ chef. Just
the fact that you
don't explain it.
The fact that you're using a KitchenAid is blowing me away. And it's green. I don't know that I know a green KitchenAid. Is that a thing?
Awesome.
They're red, aren't they? What? So cool.
Yeah, they come in all different colors. I love whimsical kitchen stuff.
I will say again, this is for me to have this is more my girlfriend than me. But yeah, she does have a green KitchenAid, a mixer. So yeah, this is a done deal here.
RPC is asking if this is a cooking show now. Hopefully. About time.
Which also means an eating show, which I'm all for.
I know. Oh, flag. Now here the flags come.
Oh, wait, you guys can delete it now because now I'm not in the studio.
Georgia's driving.
Lita, say hi to the people.
Aw. Such a cute dog. Hey, Lita, that sounds about right. Her bark goes with how she sounds. How she looks. It matches.
Lita. There you go. Say hi. There you go.
Hi. Oh my God. So cute. She's got a little, what I used to call toothbrush dog. Like, when you were a kid and you went to the dentist and they gave you a toothbrush dog? Did you guys ever get that?
No.
I have no idea what I'm talking about.
No idea.
Anyway.
Like a hot dog? Like a dachshund?
It's a toothbrush. Oh, it's a long story. But basically, it was a toothbrush container that was shaped like a dachshund.
Does your dog have some dachshund? Oh, did you get it in? No.
Is she a dachshund?
The 1 yard line.
No dachshund. No dachshund. No, she has a lot of different things. But no dachshund. She's actually mostly Chihuahua, which surprises everybody.
Yeah.
So
they got in. Georgia scored.
All right, this is
all game.
Now
here we go.
Here we go.
All happening. Oh, EJ, I can almost taste the blondies.
Yeah, this is the real deal here. Like of all the things I can make, this is the thing that I'm mostly confident in that every time they'll come out great.
All right, wait. I need a new hat here if we're about to do crunch time.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wait, so Perloff, do you bake at all? Do you bake anything?
No, not a baker.
Oh.
I like to cook, but not to bake.
Okay. I feel like I do some cooking too. I find baking easier only because everything is measured. It's kind of simple. Cooking, a lot of moving parts. I can do both, but I prefer baking.
There you go. Very comfy.
This is my cousin Eddie. We have a cousin Eddie in the chat. This is like my cousin Eddie hat. Wow, we got a ball game. Let me tweet out to the people. Come join us. Man.
Yeah, I'm gonna retweet that after you tweet it.
Okay. Hold on one sec. Man, if Georgia pulls this off.
Yeah, I'll be bummed that the committee gets such an easy job.
Yeah.
Okay. So before I go back to the watching, most important thing, guy takes a spoon, right? So.
Oh yeah.
Excellent.
How they taste?
Excellent. Exactly how it's supposed to. Got the sweetness in there. Yeah, this is gonna come out good. I'm looking forward to this.
I already misspelled something on the tweet. Oh well.
Oh crap.
Yeah.
Right now. One score game, join out watch party. EJ Stewart is making lauded. I don't know what the out watch party is, but I guess we're at it.
Hour.
Well.
Whoops. Oh man. All right. Love this game. Yeah, you're right, Perloff. If Georgia wins and FSU wins, it really just like, and obviously Michigan.
I want to see Texas.
I think Texas are they the most interesting team right now?
Yeah, Sark was on a heater. The receivers are awesome. Ewers looks awesome. Yeah, they're the new blood too, which is funny because they're an old famous program. By the way, it's 6:55. We have our bet.
Oh yeah.
What was EJ's time? 7:20. Yeah. I think you're in good shape.
EJ was 7:27. I was 7:54. Perloff 7:55.
Which is kind of weak, I admit.
Yeah, I know. Thanks for that. All right.
Started late, but it moved well.
What's the game plan tomorrow? Are you guys fired up for the Niners Eagles?
Yeah, you want to talk about it? Are you feeling nervous? You've already resigned that it's okay if they lose.
Nobody's going to win every game. They're going to lose 2 games in a season. This is the game they lose. Debo Samuel's talking this up like it's their Super Bowl. And
wait a minute, then what happens against the Cowboys? You think you beat the Cowboys then?
No, not really.
You already beat them once.
I think we lose these next 2 games. We 14-3. The Cowboys lose a 4th game, and the Niners get the number 1 seed. That's my worst case scenario.
All right.
Oh, look at this.
If Alabama scores here, is it over?
No. 10,
big 12. Play on first down.
No.
Basically to midfield.
Do you guys remember that first title game, Georgia, Alabama? Alabama was up going into the 4th. I remember Georgia poured it on late.
Yeah,
I think.
Sure.
But that Georgia team.
That national championship game actually was that the SEC title game?
No, the national championship game.
Yeah.
I think the national championship game 2 years ago.
Yeah, I remember.
Bryce Young. Oh, here, yeah.
Wow, man. This looks very easy for Alabama right now.
Got to hold them to a field goal if you're Georgia.
Well, we talked about that Georgia defense being kind of not the same. It's hard to feel like.
Especially up the middle. All right. Nice.
Yeah, make that in there.
That's too much.
Milrow just has all day.
Yeah.
This is too easy for Alabama. This is too easy.
There's no Jalen Carter or Nolan Smith or Trayvon Walker. I don't see those guys right now. So let's leave Georgia out. We're fine. We're leaving Georgia out.
I think we're all leaving Georgia out now.
If they don't win, unless they win this game.
Yeah, I think we're feeling comfortable leaving Georgia out, EJ. We were talking about this because, first of all, we've already seen them win twice. They're not as good as those last 2 years, and it'd be better. I mean, we already get some new blood because we're going to have Washington in.
Well, Washington made it in 15 or some year.
Yeah.
Jake-
no, the
Jake
first
Browning.
one. I think the first one ever.
I think it was the second one.
Oh,
Or
was
it? It might have been. Either way, it was Jake Browning, right? The Bengals, current
Yeah.
Bengals quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got crushed that night game.
Is there any chance that Jake Browning is good and saves the Bengals season? No, right?
I don't think so. But then again, I don't know.
He wasn't awful in that Steelers game,
No.
but couldn't really consistent. Like, I don't think he turned the ball over. If he did, maybe only once in that game. It just seems like, I don't know. I can't see it happening for them.
Are they on Sunday Night Football? I feel like they are. The Bengals.
Is it?
Yeah.
That should be Flex City if that's the case.
It's
Maybe
too
I'm-
late.
Oh yeah, this week. Yeah, I don't know if it was. I thought maybe previous. Should have been Flex City.
No, biggest game of the weekend tomorrow, besides Perloff, the Eagles and 49ers. I feel like Denver and the Texans is a big game.
Oh, sorry. Monday Night
Awesome.
Football is Jags hosting the Bengals. Then, but a big game is I think
Oh my
Denver
gosh,
game.
Milrow. Did you guys just see that pass?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Bama's got everything going. This is like a Tebow. Actually, Mahomes kind of does some of that stuff every once in a while too. Just sort of flicks it.
All right. Here we
It's
go.
like Alabama's day, you know?
You know, Georgia's gonna be so mad that Auburn didn't beat Alabama if they end up getting knocked out of the Final Four because of this.
There's
They're gonna be
no reason that Alabama should even be in this
Yeah.
position. They should have lost that game to Auburn. It's still amazing that
That
happened.
guy catches a punt, it's done. And if they stop him on whatever that was, touchdown.
4th and 31.
Yeah, 4th and a
He's
million.
in. Oh, now he just got in. I think he's kind of broke Georgia's will here. I don't know. Oh, again, Bond. Same guy who caught that touchdown in the Iron Bowl. Maybe he was down. Who knows? Let's see. Yeah, his elbow's down. Nebby's in the chat saying, no, we do not want to see Alabama again. Interesting. Don't want to see Alabama again.
I mean, right. So
After they were out last year, 1 year hiatus.
Honestly, if I'm Georgia, I just say give them the touchdown. Like, doesn't help them to have Alabama take a minute off the clock with a bunch of sneaks or something.
right.
He's definitely short.
It's funny. Dylan says nobody that isn't an Alabama fan wants them in the playoff. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I feel like you want the teams, if you are not an Alabama fan, if you're just neutral, you want the teams that are going to give you the best game.
Yeah, but I feel like Georgia might be a more sizzle than Alabama. Like Georgia, like I don't know. This year's Georgia team
Really?
playing like Georgia, Michigan would be a big game.
Nick Saban though. I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you.
Guys, you know what's still alive? Sorry, let me chew and swallow. What's still alive, pardon me for eating on the live stream. What's still alive is Saban's last dance.
Oh,
What do
I'm
you mean?
still alive here. If Saban goes to the college football playoff, and if they win, I could totally see a ride off into the sunset situation.
Has he given any indication of that?
He's 72, isn't he?
Wait. You were saying the last dance. You're saying it's the Warriors' last dance. You never said it
I
was
said
Alabama
both.
last.
Yeah, no.
No, you
it's-
just said you just said Saban was going to leave. You never said he was going to
No.
win the title and leave. Did you?
Oh, well, I don't know. I just thought this could be his last. This could be his last. I said I think this is his last season. Remember Big Dave in Kentucky called in to tell me that I was crazy? But I think this could be his last season. And especially if they win the title, then you definitely, And he's going to go to ESPN
Oh, look at
and be
this
an
one.
analyst.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And there's a nod to your. Did they get it?
No idea. See, what good does it just do Georgia? It's just killing time. let him in.
This isn't an untimed down. It's a 2-point conversion. Isn't that untimed?
What do you mean? No. They didn't get it.
Oh, they didn't get it. They said they didn't get in. That his elbow was down. Got it.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
It's not helping them at all.
Score.
I'll be right back and win.
He had
that he got in there.
All right.
Yep. All right. Clearly, I can't eat and watch at the same time. Yeah, he got in.
Well,
what's up with that?
The one thing about Georgia not being in there was a chance for history. That's something. That's gone.
Oh, with the three-peat?
Yeah, first three-peat ever. I mean, since 1930.
Man, this is it. This is happening. I'll tell you what, it's crazy to me that so much is riding on, to me, whether or not Louisville tonight, how dedicated are they to playing spoiler? You know? I know it's young players and, you know, young people, and they're going to be playing their hearts out. It's like, how much do they want to play spoiler tonight against FSU? Because this is everything now.
Wait.
I'm just assuming Michigan's going to win.
Oh, how much is Louisville? Yeah, I mean, Louisville.
Like, what's that Louisville? What's the spread to in that game?
1, right?
Did it go from 1.5 down to 1 with the? Do we even know if it's the third string quarterback? If they said whether or not
they haven't said it. I was just looking. Hold on a second.
Yeah, just down to 1. So it's basically a pick'em game. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it already was that before. Let's see. Tate Rodemaker didn't really do anything anyway. So
yeah, it's true.
Wait, so Rodemaker's out now?
We're not sure.
Oh.
I bet she plays. I mean,
man, this is crazy. All right, so night Georgia. So this is gonna be really hard to come back from.
Rodemaker's warming up on the field right now for Florida State.
He's got to play then.
Nevy's just sad trombone playing for Georgia. I mean, they won 2 titles and sent like half of the team to the NFL. I get what you're saying, but
that means that still unprecedented 3 straight national championships, right?
No, Minnesota in 1935.
So
yeah.
For our intensive purposes, unprecedented.
Yes, for anything in the color TV era.
Modern era, yeah.
Oh, everyone's saying Rodemaker looks good in warm-up.
Okay,
Not that, by the way, it's not like Rodemaker guarantees anything. It's still a 1-point spread.
Yeah, the fact that the spread didn't change is like all you need to know.
On that note, though, do you guys think that because now that we're going to a playoff, that this might have been the last chance we ever had of seeing another three-peat champion? Who's going to win a three-peat in a playoff scenario? Like, doesn't it make sense? Less teams, you know, all you got to do is win 2 games, a little easier. It's going to be a lot harder now for a team to win 3 straight. USC tried it, didn't do it. Now you got Georgia, didn't do it. I don't know if this ever happens. I don't know if this ever happens again.
Yeah.
It's a great point. Probably not.
It hadn't happened in 100 years before, you know?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I think there's something about college where it's like it's the back-to-back, right? Because the three-peat, it's like, you know, you're going to have guys from that first championship that are a lot of the guys are not going to be on the team anymore. At least with the back-to-back, it's like a lot of the same guys.
Yeah, right. You lose guys to graduation, to pros, to transfer portal.
Man, big game for Milroe. Does he get to New York with the Heisman or no? Probably not.
I don't think so. What is he in odds?
I don't know. Yeah, take a look. I just wanted to, like, the tabs that I have open on the top of my computer here is just a little trip down memory lane of what we've talked about so far. I have Dirk Nowitzki's age. How old is Rick Smits? What does Vince Wilfork look like right now? Who's 84 on the Bulldogs? That's McConkey and the IMDb page of Varsity Blues.
You didn't. I'm surprised you didn't look up the Eastern Michigan.
Oh, Eastern Michigan. Yeah, Paul Paffs, Eastern Michigan field.
Yeah, I actually didn't. I've never seen it. So when he said that, I was like, oh, I didn't know Eastern Michigan had a weird field.
I know.
So Milrose at 192 passing yards and -10 rushing yards. This is like
this is not the Heisman moment.
I just don't think he has the numbers like with Jaden Daniels. Oh my God, what is the matter with Georgia? They can't even like get a yard.
Not there.
Milrose really struggled to start this game. And Alabama was kind of winning in spite of him, and it allowed them to allowed him to settle in the game. Once they got that easy touchdown on the pick play that was on the wheel route, it seemed like he settled in after that.
I think that graphic, the key to the game from Georgia is the fact that Bowers and McConkey are just not the same. There's just no way you could argue that they're totally healthy.
Yeah.
And it feels like it took a lot of the confidence away from him too, not just the production. But again, like Bowers has been hurt for a couple games now, right? Most of the season.
So I have a question here. This is a pure Madden-like question. If you're Georgia, you're facing 4th down.
You gotta throw that, dude. Oh my God.
Oh, he got a flag though. Yes.
No, I was gonna say if you're Georgia in Madden, I'm always for the quick field goal. Like teams will drive the ball. They'll waste all their time trying to get the touchdown, and they'll give themselves only 10, 15 seconds left to try to then get the field goal. Like to me, you just get in field goal range, get the field goal immediately, and then you need a touchdown. Give yourself time to get that. Like, are you a pro or con on that philosophy?
Tough though, right? Because you get the touchdown first, you do the hard stuff first. Then if you do get the onside kick, you basically have to run 2 plays, and then you're in field goal position. I kind of get it.
Yeah.
I just know every time I've played Madden, and like most of the time I've played other people on Madden, they always do the same thing. They say just give me the field goal, and I've seen more coaches do it recently, but it hasn't fully been immersed yet in like the coaching landscape of whether or not they go for the quick field goal as opposed to trying to waste all the time to get the touchdown.
I think it also depends on how's your defense playing. Like if your defense is playing like the Steelers or the Browns, then go for it. But so far, Georgia's not been able to really stop Alabama. I mean, in the last couple of drives, I know the third quarter they did a good job, but
what a terrible call! Oh, jeez. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, did he get in? That was an amazing run.
Why was the whole game like this? Now both teams look great on offense. Touchdown. Well, that was fast.
That was very fast.
Oh, maybe it wasn't a touchdown.
Season flashing before their eyes.
What happened there? How could people not sneak the ball in? Oh my God!
He didn't get it.
That's valuable time.
Yeah, and you can't use a timeout because you got to use them.
Yeah.
On defense.
Oh.
I don't think he got in.
No.
What are they doing? What do you do? Do you run here or do you pass?
No, look at that guy.
You run it again? Oh my gosh, I can't believe they didn't get in.
They call a timeout. Oh my God.
What do? Do you try to run it again here or do you try to pass? I think you probably pass, right? You
it's fourth down.
Stuffed.
I can't believe why are people tush pushing? What's the problem here?
Not everyone can do it. You think Carson Beck is squatting as much as Jalen?
Carson Beck's 6'4". Why can't he just sneak in? I don't understand.
I don't think it matters like how tall you are. I think it's like how strong is your lower body.
All right.
Man, hell of a game we got going here, guys.
Kirby's not happy.
Why? Oh, I thought you said Herbie, like Kirk Herbstreit. I'm like, what? No,
Look
yeah.
at this.
Wow.
We're just 3-0 versus top 25. That's more top 25. But yeah.
All right, here we go. Here's your ball game. TM Lee saying call Philly special. So good.
By the way, no one gets a Philly special right now. I feel like every week we see them flop trying to do the Philly special.
Just gonna hand the ball off, right? Yep. He's in. Okay.
Wow. Hey, can you guys hear me, by the way? I just want to check.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I switched my other headphones because I lost you guys initially.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
RPC says dead air. We're watching the game. We gotta see what's gonna happen. This is big.
Yeah, this is the watch party part of the
I know.
show.
Now
This is the watch of the watch party.
Yeah. There you go.
Less emphasis on party and more on watch.
I find myself, I'm such a weirdo. I get so anxious at the end of football games. I don't even have a rooting interest really necessarily.
You're wearing an Alabama shirt.
Yeah, but I'm quasi. I don't want to see Georgia lose either. I kind of like both.
No, I'm with you, Perloff. I'm the same way.
Yeah,
You just get nervous for everybody involved.
I get nervous for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
I get it. That's why we like this.
I can't even. I won't even watch the end of an Eagles game. I'll just go. I have all sorts of tricks, but I will hide basically.
But here's the thing: then you have to go back and watch it.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, honestly, if you see it, I could go into the kitchen. I can see the reflection of the TV in the window there. So often I'll do that to see what's happening.
You'd rather watch the reflection of the game than the game.
Because the location of where you watch a football game is the big determinant of what happens on the field. That's common.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wait, so what happens now? So obviously, if Alabama gets 2 first downs, then this is going to be over. But do you think they're going to stop them here?
I mean, Georgia's defense is going to make a stand at this point. It's got to be now. I think they do.
It.
The football guys normally give us the team gets the ball back with a chance to win. It's not always the best chances. Sometimes they maybe 5 seconds left, 10 seconds left. But I think Georgia gets the ball back with a chance to win. Yeah.
I don't know, though. Milroe has a little of this last, well, I don't know. Who knows?
So now this is a 3-point game. I mean, are we still saying Georgia's out no matter what, even if they lose by 3?
Now, that's a good question.
Like, this is a closer loss now. I mean, this is starting to feel like the end-season tournament. Now we're talking about point differentials.
I know. When it was 2 touchdowns, it was like, all right, Georgia's out now.
Yeah.
How dare you compare this to the in-season tournament? The stakes are so much.
I thought I could see that in there.
No, I think you're just poking me, EJ, with the in-season tournament. And watch, I'm going to start liking the damn thing, and I'm going to be so mad at you. I will hate watching in-season tournament.
Who doesn't love November basketball in Las Vegas?
Whatever. I watched the Sixers almost beat the Celtics with nobody playing last night. Could do 10 minutes.
Embiid was out, right? He's sick.
Embiid and Maxey were quote unquote sick. Yeah, sick. Called load management.
I see a comment. EJ, can you explain the in-season tournament right now in 30 seconds? We're now in the knockout stage.
Wait, stop.
You want to give me a timer? Yeah.
Yeah. I want to time you. You have to explain.
I don't have the bell to play like what is it? The air horn we have during
our hurry up
during the show.
The hurry up offense. 30 seconds. Okay. Go.
30 teams are split into 6 groups. One conference has 15 teams. One conference has 15 teams. The group play. They play 4 games. Teams with the best records in each group, they advance to the knockout round. Then there's 2 wild cards, one from each conference. That means 8 teams overall, and that is the quarterfinals we're on right now. So now we're in the knockout stages of the in-season tournament that are being played starting on Tuesday, and the Final Four is played in Vegas with a championship also being played in Vegas. Bam, done.
Okay, here's the question. All
I didn't get was that winner gets $500,000, but whatever.
Hold on. One thing just happened. They had a chance to kick the onside kick, and they really didn't kick an onside kick. He basically did like a squib kick behind the defense. Like there was no shot Georgia was going to be able to grab that at all. Was that on purpose? Did he just screw up? Like what happened?
I don't know. It was like,
I don't know
it was
what-
a little
I
like
don't
the
know
13
what, I don't know
seconds.
what that was.
It was nothing like the 13
Well,
second game.
what
It
I've
should have
seen,
been.
what I've seen teams do way back in the day, and this is like NFL stuff. They would like fake the onside kick and then kick like a little pooch about
Yeah.
maybe 34 yards and just make it a dead sprint.
Oh,
I've seen
here
Well,
goes
teams
there you
Milrow.
go.
Smart to go out down and bounce.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
after he got, yeah.
he's basically going to run every play here.
Well, also after he got roasted from last week, where he threw beyond the line of scrimmage twice in the game, this shows that he's doing the smart thing, you know.
That was a call run, I assume.
Yeah, definitely.
That was the play that Jalen Hurts ran to beat your Bills. Almost exactly, Maggie. Sorry, not to
Yep.
bring that back.
I knew it looked familiar.
But the safety bit that was going the wrong way. Oh, sorry.
The DeAndre Swift run was worse, but yeah.
Man, Georgia looks tired on defense. Like they've been run
Yeah,
down.
they do.
Yeah.
So if this game ends 27-24, is that enough to keep Georgia in the mix?
I think Alabama's going to probably end up kicking another field goal here. But anyway, if it ends as like a one score.
Or
One score
but they get a
game?
first down. I think they can kneel.
Yeah, because they're not kicking a field goal from here.
Okay, yeah. So
I
if
think
it's
you either go for it or you punt.
you know, if it's a one score game, does Georgia still have a case to get in? Again, this is all like, I think Texas has got to be celebrating right now or feeling really good right now.
I think this is Texas's best scenario. I think it might be Texas.
This is their best scenario. Definitely.
Because Alabama didn't blow out Georgia to jump them. Georgia is going to maybe lose a close game. I think this is probably what you could have hoped for.
I think Texas has got to be feeling real good right now.
Because now Texas can say, well, we beat Alabama, who beat Georgia, but Georgia didn't blow them. Alabama didn't blow them out, so therefore you can't put Alabama ahead of us.
Right.
It's this weird mental gymnastics that they can play that actually I think will make a little bit of sense.
And also, Texas beat Alabama by 10 points, right? Didn't they beat them by
exactly.
2 scores? Yeah.
Yeah. And that game didn't even feel that close, to be honest.
Yeah, right. Man, so we can actually say Texas is back?
Yeah.
Sorry, someone had to say it.
Got killed by like TCU style in the Final Four. All right, second A, one more first down, it's over, baby.
I think Georgia fans can sense it. I mean, listen, it's been some really good. It's been some real.
But
good
this is not
times.
how. This is really not how you want to go down to Alabama. Oh
no!
That was a pretty play call.
Tommy
Reese. Look at that.
I mistakenly called him Bill O'Brien earlier in the chat, but
what's the difference?
Yeah.
Do you think he called Jalen Milrow cut back like that? I'm not so
sure. Oh yeah, that was design.
Oh, and he fumbled at the end. He recovered.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot
got knocked out at the end. It got punched out, but he got it back.
Now, oddly enough, Mike LaFleur had a similar play for Breece Hall last year in Green Bay. It was a run play, but those design cutbacks are not part of a lot of these plays. It's crazy.
Oh, I can see TM Lee in the chat has this. I guess there's like a betting situation. Needs a punt, and they're gonna march down the field and score. Been there.
Wait, can they kneel yet? I mean, they gotta be close.
Well, Georgia had the timeout. They burned it, obviously.
How many more timeouts does Georgia have? They just went to commercial break.
None.
They used one.
That was their last one, I believe.
Yeah,
I think we're done. Unless my math is off. Second now, right? So.
Yeah.
I think they might have to run around on one of the plays, but yeah, they're close to this being over.
Wow. All right. Well, that was wild.
Made it fun at the end.
Yeah, I mean,
really glad
I feel like Georgia was doing the thing that they do to Alabama lately, and we're like, the momentum. I know Alabama's been on top of it, but Georgia finally figured out their offense. It was too late.
I gotta find this stat that I saw. I want to make sure I have it right. It's actually from person.
Nope, you're right, Perloff. They are kneeling it down. Your math was correct.
Yeah, it's over.
And down goes Georgia, and we get some chaos finally.
By the way, Alabama
Sorry, EJ,
is
what
now.
were you saying?
Alabama is now. This was from a stat from a person who actually used to be the Georgia mascot. Alabama is now 5-0 against Georgia in Atlanta since 1942.
Oh wow!
Georgia should really lobby to have that game moved. He's like, can we play this in Jacksonville?
Any other southern stadium, Jacksonville.
Yeah, New Orleans.
Yeah, we play in Tennessee, in Nashville.
All right, guys. So now we have to wait and see what happens with FSU. But
hey, wait, hey. Don't discount Iowa, Maggie. Don't discount Iowa. Maybe they win this one 12-10. Chicago Bears are like
Oddly enough, I kind of thought that I was thinking about it today. I think Jeremy Harbaugh talking down the Ohio State rivalry was actually his way of getting his team to move on to Iowa. I've been trying to think of this Jedi mind trick of what he's trying to do, why he did that, because it seems so weird. Right. Being like, oh, we don't really hate those guys. Oh, what's the big deal? Because like they do have a poor
and to the Final Four too, in a way, EJ, because they have not been prepared for the Final Four at all. You know,
for sure.
Played 2 years in a row.
That's true.
Yeah. I can see both.
All right, guys, sure. That was fun.
All right.
Wow, thank you to everyone who joined us in the chat, and also a huge thank you behind the scenes. Well, EJ obviously, but you're like in front of the scenes and behind the scenes, but also to Andrew Kaplan, who was the mastermind behind this whole thing, doing everything in the chat, monitoring, weighing in. Yes. Applause. And thanks to Paul Paps and to Zach Yell.
Awesome. Zach Andrew Bogus dropped by. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Ate a whole cupcake all in one bite.
Yeah.
That we got a clip.
EJ, how are the Blondies doing?
Well, I didn't throw them in the oven. I came here because I want to see the end of this game. But they'll be in the oven, and there'll be a picture posted on social. People want to follow me, I'll post a picture, let you know how they go. But tasted fantastic. I was eating the spoon here. I brought it with me.
Also, this game ended, I believe, 7:23. So,
oh my God, EJ,
that means Perloff said, or EJ said 7:27. Yep. I said 7:54. Perloff said 7:55. That means Perloff will be buying breakfast.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right,
everybody. This was a lot of fun.
Yes, we'll see you Monday. Go Birds. Wait, what? That's not appropriate. Go Birds. All right. Later, guys.
Later. Thanks, everyone.
All right. I guess we're out. Bye.
Yeah, so it's up to Cap to stop the stream. So.
Okay. Later.
All right. Peace out, guys. I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for everything. And see you Monday.